welcome to another episode of Story and Things, a podcast that reviews stories.
And sometimes we talk about things that aren't stories, but like...
Kind of stories?
Kind of.
Relating to the stories?
Sometimes, I don't even think we talk about stories on here. It's kind of crazy.
We're honestly just here for selfish reasons, talking to each other.
Yeah. I know. Love it.
And a camera just happens to be here.
Yeah. What camera?
Like The Office.
Love it.
I'm your host, Yajaira.
And I'm your host, Cheli.
And today, long awaited.
Oh my gosh.
By me, at least.
By you.
By me.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, Cheli and I have gone to a couple of horror nights together.
Yeah.
At Universal Studios.
Yes.
And there was a year, I don't remember what year it was. 2018? 2018, we went together with my family, and Stranger Things, The Maze, was there. Mm-hmm. And we went. And apparently you were not a fan.
But I was a fan of The Maze.
But you had not watched Stranger Things. Or you had, just the first season.
Yes. But I was not as deep into it as everyone there.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I had only watched season 1 of Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. And it just left my mind afterwards. Mm-hmm. Not saying I didn't like the first season. I just...
Forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know... me.
Yeah.
So I just kind of let it go. Mm-hmm. And I blinked, and now there's a season 4.
Yeah, and I think I have always been a fan of it since season 2 came out.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. I really love Stranger Things.
I love that for you.
Thank you. Love that for you too.
But you did recommend that because season 4 has been broken down into 2 volumes, volume 1 and volume 2, mm-hmm. which volume 2 is coming out soon.
Yeah.
From when we're filming this. Mm-hmm. You recommended that we film an episode where we talk about season 4 volume 1.
Yeah, but in order to do that, we do have to go through the prior seasons.
So this is going to be a recap episode of Stranger Things. We will try to focus more on volume 1 of season 4, but we are going to recap the entire show.
Mostly Cheli, because Cheli did watch the entirety of it, like, not even a week ago. And
I watched it in 2 days.
I've seen everything, but I watched it as it came out, so...
I think it'll come back to you, though. You'll be fine.
I feel like I remember the major points.
Okay. So if you have not seen Stranger Things, I do recommend for you to watch it, but if you're on a time crunch, we'll try our best to recap.
Yeah.
For you to be ready for when volume 2 of season 4 comes out. If you have watched Stranger Things, this will be nice for you to see if we remembered it well enough. I think I do, though. I think I'm like confident in my knowledge of this.
Okay.
But why don't we get started?
All right. So go ahead and summarize the first season.
So this show takes place in the 80s. And we are introduced to these 4 kids. It is Lucas, Dustin, Mike, and Will. Mm-hmm. And they're dorky.
And they're children.
They're children and they're dorky. They were playing Dungeons and Dragons at the beginning. And
so they're so hella dorky.
They're so fucking into it. It's so funny because, you know, it's Mike who's in the front and he's like, you guys are walking through this forest and you hear something. And they're like, it's the fucking Demogorgon. It's It's not the Demogorgon. It's not. And then Mike is just like, it's the Demogorgon. And they all get up. Oh my God. What the fuck did I tell you?
Fucking knew it.
And then they're talking to Will and they're like, Will, you gotta run away. No, cast the fireball. No, you gotta run away. You gotta cast the fireball. And Will goes for it and casts the fireball. Mm-hmm. And he rolls the dice to see if he has like a passing throw. Mm-hmm. And he gets a 7, which if you ever play Dungeons and Dragons, that's a fail. And Mike doesn't see it because, you know, he gets interrupted because he's late to doing something. Doesn't really matter. But we see Will talk to Mike and go like, oh, by the way, at our D&D meetup, I got a 7. The Demogorgon got me.
Aww.
Sorry. You know, and it's like, oh, no, it's okay. We'll just continue next time.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind, okay? So this story seems like just an average 80s town until when Will is going home with Dustin. They are both racing to go to Dustin's house because he was going to give a comic to Will.
They're on their bikes.
Yeah, they're on their bikes. And it's raining. And it's very dark. And Will sees something. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look human. It's very... Well, sorry. Let me say it again. It looks sort of human, but there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
He's trying to get away from it, but the last thing we hear and see is him scream, and he's gone. Mm-hmm. That is the start of the issue of season 1, which is the disappearance of Will Byers. Mm-hmm. So all of season 1 has to do with them looking for him, because Joyce, which is his mom, in the next episode, you see her like, where the fuck is my son? Mm-hmm. Jonathan, which is the older son, Jonathan Byers. It's like, did you not see Will come home? And it's like, no, I was working a late shift, Mom. Get off my back, jeez. So,
You're asking way too many questions, Mom. What are you, a cop?
And so then Joyce calls around, like, have any of you seen Will? He didn't come home. And it starts to get more suspicious because he didn't show up to school. Mm-hmm. So no one knows where he's at. And she starts to freak out. So she calls local law enforcement, and the police chief, Jim Hopper, fucking handsome ass man.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, 99 out of 100 times when a kid goes missing, it's because there was someone, like another relative. And Joyce is like, well, what about the other one? What about the other 1 out of 100? And it's like, I doubt something happened to Will. He must be with someone else.
Dead girl.
Yes. So, you know, it's a normal disappearance. It's very sad, but it's a normal disappearance at this point until Joyce gets a phone call that is just heavy breathing. Mm-hmm. And then her phone blows up.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck was that? But she knows that it's like, that was my kid breathing. Mm-hmm. That was my kid breathing. And Jim Hopper is like, how the fuck do you know that? And it's like, you're going to tell me you wouldn't know your kid's breathing? Which is,
I don't have a kid currently.
Yeah, which is really sad because he did lose his kid to cancer.
Yeah.
Poor guy. It is kind of like a
stab.
Yeah. So Joyce in this entire season is seen as crazy because
nobody believes her.
No one believes her. They find his bike near a river that there's like a cliff to go into, and they find evidence of him just like disappearing, probably falling into the river, something happening to him. But she does not believe it because she's like, I'm getting these phone calls. I can hear breathing. The lights are flickering. It's weird. Like, I don't know, but I know I can feel that he's here.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the point where they do find a body. They find Will's body
supposedly.
Yeah, in the water. Mm-hmm. And at this point, they're like, oh my God, like, what if he is dead?
Yeah.
So I'm going to pause there for a second, because while Joyce is going through all of this, there's another character whose name is 11, who is a girl who randomly ends up at I guess it's like a diner. Yeah. And she looks like a runaway that ran out of a hospital.
Yeah. She's trying to survive.
We noticed that she's not regular like other people. Mm-hmm. She can manipulate things with her mind. Now she, because of circumstances, leaves the diner, and she ends up crashing into Mike, Dustin, and Lucas. Well, first Mike. They take her in because they have no idea where to take her. Mm-hmm. But then she does react to a picture of Will. And they're like, do you know where Will is? And she grabs their D&D mat and flips it over so that the black side is on top.
Yeah.
And she puts the Demogorgon and Will's character on the mats.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's where he is. And they don't really understand it at this moment, but there is another dimension that is like theirs, but different. And they like to call it the upside down. Mm-hmm. This is going on. So now we're experiencing both of these stories that have not collided yet. And we know that something is wrong with Will and he is still alive, but he's not there. So then it's weird because Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and 11 do end up seeing the body get pulled out of the water. Mm-hmm. So they're like, that's Will.
And it looks like him, too.
It looks like him. But the thing is, no one is allowed to go close to the body. And it's a little weird because not even local law enforcement is allowed to look at the body. Mm-hmm. It's only the state that's allowed. And Jim Hopper, who at first was believing that this was a normal kidnapping or a normal disappearance, all of a sudden this is weird because why is the state trying to handle a local disappearance? It's not like it's JFK.
Yeah.
And he actually breaks in to look at the body because they had a funeral for this kid. So before the funeral happens, he opens up the body and realizes that it's fake. Like there's cotton in it.
Yeah. So somebody made this body so that Joyce can shut up.
Yes. So anything Joyce is saying is true.
Yeah.
So she ends up figuring out a way to communicate to whatever's sending her messages.
Because remember, the lights are flickering.
Yeah, the lights are flickering. So she buys a lot of Christmas lights, which I think is so funny because she keeps going to where the grocery store she works at. And she's like, can you give me 2 weeks of my paycheck and maybe cigarettes and 5,000 Christmas lights? Thank you.
Don't ask questions.
But she puts up these lights and writes the alphabet on the wall.
So every light had a letter of the alphabet.
And finds a way to communicate with him. And I think it's so sad because the first point where she communicates with Will, she's holding a huge strand of lights. And she says, Will, is that you?
Oh,
if it's yes, blink once. If it's no, blink twice.
And then
it's
it
yes.
lights up.
Are you somewhere else? And he says, yes. And she's so happy. And then she says, are you safe? And it blinks twice.
Aww.
And she's so scared for him.
I know.
So then she puts up the letters, the alphabet, and he lights up run. And all of a sudden, this monster comes up, which the other kids have identified as the Demogorgon. So wherever the Upside Down is, it's a dangerous place. And they think they don't know much about it, but it is revealed that 11 opened the gate to go to the Upside Down. So if she opened it, then she must know where the gate is, and she must know how to get him out.
Yeah.
She does end up helping them. At first, she's a little hesitant because whatever the Upside Down was and the experimenting that they did with her to give her telekinesis, all of that was really messed up. Because anytime she talks about her past, she always says, it was bad people that manipulated me, bad men. It was horrible. And, you know, they don't want her to go through that. But she does feel inclined to help find Will Byers because, oh my God, the way Joyce treats 11... freaking love that. She's so sweet to her. But they do really want to find him. So they go to the school and they're trying to connect to Will to try to see where he's at. But when they do that, the state does come and take Joyce and Jim Hopper in exchange for where 11 is. I think that was the switch that they were going to have. They're like, you can go into the Upside Down and grab him. Well, we're completely fine with that as long as you tell us where 11 is. And they do that, but the state does that not thinking that Joyce and Jim are going to be able to get Will. So they go in and freaking fuck those people because they do get Will. And Pobrecito was all like on the wall with like something living, like going down his throat. And he looked like he was dying. He had been in there for a long time. Yeah, but they do end up getting him out. And this season, just to wrap it up, it's getting crazy because the states is trying to take 11. And then there's a Demogorgon that comes that's attacking the military people who are trying to take 11. So it's like craziness happening. So she realizes that, you know, I'm going to kill this Demogorgon and I'm going to take him out like somewhere. But I'm going to sacrifice myself.
Right.
And she looks back at her friends.
Because now they're friends.
She looks back at Mike, and that's the last time they see her. And
she goes missing.
Yeah. And this ends with not knowing what happens to 11, but giving a little sneak peek of what season 2 would be, because Jim Hopper does leave a snack. It's an Eggo that 11 always used to like in a box in the forest.
So he's leaving like food for her.
Yeah. And that's how it ends. I tried my best.
You did a really good job. The only things that you didn't bring up was Nancy, which is Mike's sister.
Yeah,
and Steve Harrington.
Just because, remember, disappearance of Will Byers. You know, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, but they are big characters too.
While Joyce and Jim are trying to figure out where Will is, and while Mike, Dustin, Lucas, and 11 are trying to figure it out, there's another character that goes missing whose name is Barbara, who is friends with Nancy, who is Mike's sister. And Jonathan Byers, who is Will's brother, ends up teaming up with Nancy because they figure out whatever took her isn't human.
Yeah.
So they go on their own hunt to figure out how Barbara went missing.
And Nancy is dating Steve Harrington in this season, but he's
like a cool boy.
Kind of a fuckboy in this season.
He is a fuckboy because he cares a lot about appearances. So when he saw Jonathan and Nancy hanging out together, after they like went through a fight in the Upside Down, because they ended up there earlier than other characters, Steve misunderstood the situation. So the friends basically went around town and wrote a bunch of
mean things about Nancy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were calling her really mean slurs.
But what I liked about this season, because I really liked the first season. I liked it the first time I watched it and the second time even more. But what I really liked about the season, and I think every season does this, There's always multiple stories happening, but they all meet up at the end.
Yeah.
All the time.
I really love that too. Because everything has a purpose.
Yes.
And that's what I really like about this show.
How did you feel about the first season?
I loved it. I was immediately hooked from it. I didn't have Netflix when the first season came out. And so I didn't get to experience it. But everyone loved it, right? It was like really big since the beginning. So I think I watched it when season 2 came out, possibly. And I immediately loved it. I loved all of the characters. And I was just hooked.
Oh my God. You know what really sold me at the end of season 1?
The Echo?
No, not only that. When everything is back to normal. When everything is back to normal and they're having Christmas. So you see Steve spending Christmas with the Wheelers. And you see Jonathan going home with his brother Will and Joyce. And it's really sweet. But then you see Will go into the bathroom because he starts to have like a coughing fit. Aww. And he coughs out a leech. And then suddenly he sees himself in the upside down. And like tries to shake himself out of it. And then he's fine.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That made me so sad.
What did you think that meant? Did you think it meant that it was a premonition? Or do you think he's traumatized?
I thought that whatever happened to him because the thing went down his throat and whatever, I thought he has a connection to whatever the upside down is. So from that point, and I didn't know anything about season 2 at this point, I thought he was the upside down. So like whatever happens, he can feel it. Oh, and that's kind of where season 2 started to go.
Well, did you have any dislikes from this first season?
No, I really liked the first season.
Yeah, I didn't have any dislikes either. Honestly, I'd give it a 5. It was a really good season.
I would too. And the music? Oh my gosh.
It was so good.
And I really like when like things that are scary. It wasn't scary to me.
It wasn't scary to me either.
But things that are scary balanced with comedy. I love when that happens.
Oh, so you're into horror comedy?
Yeah. That's why I really like it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Cheli, go ahead and give us a summary for season 2.
They try to go back to more normalcy. They're just trying to have a normal time at school. You know, Will's back. They're trying to treat it as normal. But remember, he died in season 1. No one really knows what happened. No one knows about the upside down. They just know they threw a funeral for him and all of a sudden he's alive.
Yeah, that must have been really creepy.
I know. So he does get bullied at school and they call him Zombie Boy. And it's so sad.
My poor baby.
Yeah, but he's trying to live a normal life. And within this, we are introduced to a new character whose name is Maxine, who goes by Max. And she is very tomboyish and is very cold and not approachable. But Dustin and Lucas are like, oh my God.
They're smitten by her.
Yes, we need to add her to the squad.
Because I think if I'm remembering correctly, weren't they like already getting to a point where they're kind of like having crushes now?
Yeah, they were. So they were trying to figure out, well, what are we going to say to her? How do we invite her in? Yeah, so they really, really liked her and they wanted to add her. But Mike was very like, no, there was only one girl on our team and it's Elle and we can't replace her. You can't add people into our team. You know, you can't do that. And they're like, well, whatever. We'll figure it out later. And you figure out at this moment that even though all the boys are trying to move on into a normal life, Mike still sits in the basement where Elle used to stay when he kept her in there and talks to her through the radio, hoping that someone's out there.
He called out to her like 356 times or something like that.
352. But he's calling out to her and he misses her. While they're trying to remain in a normal life, Joyce is noticing some things about Will. We do know that he did get PTSD from what happened to him. And he is going to a special doctor who is trying to help him through this. They're basically saying, like, nothing you're seeing is real. It's just, you know.
It's just your trauma.
It's just your trauma. But he keeps drawing these pictures of this shadow figure with multiple arms. And Joyce...
Oh, yeah, and he's huge, huh?
Yeah, and Joyce is like, what is this? And it's like, oh, you know, it's just from D&D. It's no big deal, Mom.
Yeah.
He's trying to deny it. He doesn't want to tell anyone. But he keeps having flickers of the upside down where he's, you know, having Halloween with his friends. They all dress like Ghostbusters. And it's really sweet. But then all of a sudden, he's in the upside down. And everyone's gone. And he can hear something chasing him. And it's scary.
Yeah.
And
so he'll be having like a normal fun time. And then all of a sudden it switches.
Yep. And he doesn't know what's going on. And it isn't until he comes clean to Mike where they're like, what's happening? Like, is it coming back? And he's like, I don't know. But that's what I'm going through. So while this is going on, A little thing happens too. Dustin finds a weird creature in his garbage can.
Oh my God, this part.
And it's just like a little...
It looks like a slug.
It looks like a slug, but you can tell it's not...
from that world.
Yeah, but he's like, oh my God, I think it loves me. So he gets really attached to it and adopts it. And at first, it's just kind of like, whatever, that's really weird, Dustin. It's weird that it's growing fast, but whatever. So he's getting really attached to this little creature thing. And
I was completely grossed out by it.
And they are very sure that it's from the Upside Down, so they're set to kill it. But when Dustin figures out that they want to kill it, he's like, oh, it disappeared. Crazy. Nothing's under my hat.
Yeah.
Gonna go home. So he leaves. And while this is going on, let's talk about what's happening with Jim Hopper. Because he's currently living in... just like a little
cabin.
Yeah, it is. And it was all fucked up when he moved in there.
Yeah.
But the reason he did is because leading up to season 2, when he was leaving those Eggos in the box, he did crash into 11. And he said that, you know, like life was really hard for her, but he wanted to be there for her.
Because remember, he did have a previous family before.
Yes.
But his daughter unfortunately died. And so he takes in 11, and their relationship is actually really cute.
It's really sweet. Like, it shows little flashbacks of when they moved into this cabin and it was ruined. It was both of them putting it together, and he would play music. He would dance, and she was so happy.
So this was her first experience with like that familial relationship.
Yeah. And you can tell that they're very close. And it's, oh my gosh, it's so sweet too, because she will like be home and sometimes he'll send like a Morse code to her and just like late, and she's like, okay, he sent it, okay, now I know what that means, you know. She's like on top of it. And she like knows what time he comes home from work, and it's like, you said you were gonna be here at 5:15. It is 8:15. And he's like 8:15. But yes, like, you know. So
yeah.
But she starts to get a little bit of cabin fever because she wants to go out. And she keeps asking him, like, when can I go see Mike? When can I go see my friends? And it's like, oh, soon. It's like, you said soon on day 50. You said soon on day 203.
He doesn't want her to go out because the people that experimented on her are looking for her. And so it's really dangerous for her to be outside. Yes. So he's just really protective over her.
Yes.
But she doesn't get it because she is a kid.
But the day that Dustin brings that creature to school, remember, Max is slowly starting to integrate herself in the group, but only because Lucas and Dustin are pushing it. And Mike does not like her, but she's trying really hard to be friends with Mike. So there's a scene where she and Mike are in the
gym.
Yeah, in the gym.
And she's on her skateboard.
Just skateboarding around him and just talking to him. But
11, she looks a little too smiley.
She does. But 11 sees that and she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
what is that?
I think that's her first like jealousy.
Yes, and she leaves and she goes back home.
Well, not before she makes her fall.
Oh, she makes her fall off the skateboard.
Yeah.
And it was like, it felt like something pulled it. And he's like, 11? Oh
11, where are you?
That sounds like something 11 would do.
And he doesn't even care. He's like, where is she? Where's my girl?
I know, literally, Max is on the floor.
Bleeding.
Help her up. So Will starts to get worse. These pains and these visions he used to have, he's starting to have dreams. And it's getting weird because he's not talking like himself. He says, like, can you please keep it cold? It's too hot in here. He likes it cold. And it's like, what the who's he?
Who is
Jonathan?
Jonathan doesn't actually.
But they keep saying, like, he likes it cold. He likes it cold. He doesn't know how to bring up how he feels and what he sees, because he says that he's having now visions where it's like he's seeing now memories, where he's seeing memories from the past, but it feels like he's thinking about them as if it's his own memories. So he draws this very intricate design, and it takes hella pages, and it's spread all over his house. And by the way, Joyce, his mom, is dating someone in this season whose name is Bob, and he's kind of a normie. He's so normal, but he's a really good guy because he's really trying to get along with the family and is really like, you know what? I can move you guys out of here and somewhere like safer, somewhere good for your family. He's so good.
He's such a good man.
But he comes in while all of these papers are like this. And it's like,
he's like, wait, I know this.
I know this is a map of the town.
Avi, like my house is right over there.
But the reason this is important is because when they put this up, they realize that it looks like a bunch of paths and specifically like vines, because in this season, for some reason, all the crops in Hawkins, the place they're at, they're dying and they don't know why. So Jim Hopper, the police chief, makes the connection. These are vines and it's something that's happening underground. So he drives away to like an area where the crops were dying and ends up going into these vines, but gets stuck because it closes up the opening he had made. So Will has a moment where he's like, Jim Hopper's in trouble and he's going to die. I know this. So then that's when Bob comes in and is like, this is a map of the town and I know exactly where everything is. And so they ask him, like, how do we get to this spot specifically? Because Will knows that that's where Jim Hopper is. And it's like, okay, you get there like this. And he gives them the directions. And they go to get Jim Hopper. I don't know why I keep saying his full name. It's because I want to call him Hopper because that's what everyone calls him. Okay, but they go get Hopper. And this is like Bob, a normie, is helping them.
Yeah.
When they get him, they end up bringing, I don't know if they bring law enforcement or law enforcement ends up coming. But they're like, oh my gosh, whatever the Upside Down brought, it's spreading too much. We need to get rid of it. So in order to stop the growth of it, they end up burning it because they think that's going to solve whatever's happening. And when they burn it, Will starts to react as if he's getting burned.
Yeah.
So whatever this is, it's connected to Will in a way that's closer than everyone else thinks. And they describe it as a hive mind. So because it's connected to Will, whatever happens to one thing will happen to everything else that's connected to it.
Yeah.
And they have no idea how to get rid of it. And they're getting upset because this doctor who has promised that it was PTSD, it's nothing scary, he didn't know anything what he was talking about. So they don't know how to help him. So they take him to the doctor, and I fucking hated this scene because they're like, okay, Will, we're going to test out what's happening. So we brought a piece of that vine and we're going to burn it and see what happens to you. And they keep burning it when he's physically in pain. Like, Are you sure? Bring the second torch.
They're like,
hello?
I think he's faking it. We just have to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is it actually burning or is it just like sizzling a little bit?
Yeah, because I'm not sure. Now we're at the point where everyone's together. Literally everyone. All the friends. Dustin, Lucas, Max, Mike, Will. But, he ain't really feeling it.
But he's there, and that's all that matters.
¿Cómo se llama? Hopper, Joyce, and Nancy, and Jonathan. And Steve eventually. But they're all together. And they figured out that they need to trick whatever is holding on to Will. So if they take him to a place that is concealed, maybe none of like the evil, they call them demodogs. It's whatever creature Dustin had. They grow up to be like a demogorgon, but it looks like a dog.
Yeah.
They realize that if they hide Will, they won't be attacked. So they hide him, and they want to do the opposite of what this vine has been asking them, because it's always been asked to like keep it cold, make sure it's cold. And Joyce has the idea of like, instead of keeping it cold, let's just heat up the house and just sweat it out of him, basically. And it's so sad because it doesn't look like it's working. They're basically burning their son.
Yeah.
And Jonathan is there when it's happening, and Jonathan's like, oh my God. Like, you have to stop, Mom. It's not working. It's not working. And it's really sad, but they're trying their best to make sure that he's okay. Meanwhile, 11 is trying to close the gate that is connecting the Upside Down to the world. So she's trying to close this gate. They're trying to get Will to, sweat it out. And eventually they do close the gate, and Will does sweat out the monster. But when it disappears, it kind of just disappears into the air.
Yeah.
So you don't know what happens.
Where it goes.
So this season ends with Will finally getting rid of whatever was connected to him in the Upside Down. 11 is back, and Jim Hopper, when he, like, in the middle of all of this, the state people who were also in shock that everything was happening, he was like, by the way, give that girl a normal fucking life, okay? And make it quick.
Yeah.
She is promised a normal life and is given a birth certificate with the name Jane Hopper. And everyone else is kind of just like, they've gotten very, very close. And it ends with them going to a ball called the Snowball. And it's just like a middle school dance. And 11 comes and dances with Mike. And I think it's really sweet. And that's kind of how season 2 ends. Can I say season 2 was not my favorite?
Not my favorite either.
I didn't hate it.
It made me really sad when Bob died, though.
Oh, yeah. The normie she dated, he's died a hero.
Yeah.
He was just a normal guy, and he kept saying, like, oh, it's really nice because this is Bob the superhero. I'm going to have my superhero moment.
That was really sad.
And when they were escaping where the demodogs were, he made it to the very end, but something had fallen. Mm-hmm. And even though he made it to the exit door, the demodogs attacked him and basically ate him alive. Mm-hmm. It was so sad. I felt bad for Joyce, but
just generally or in that moment?
Just generally.
She's nothing been ever through goes a lot.
Nothing ever goes well for her, but she's very like, if I think something's happening, it's happening.
It's like her intuition is always right.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of agree. The season wasn't my favorite, but I did really love how Hopper and Eleven were connecting together.
Yeah.
I was like this. And also, I love Elle's hair. Like the little curls.
Yes, me too.
The tiny curls. They're like my favorite look on her because she looks so cute.
And I know it's different in season 3, but I like that in season 2, she dresses a lot like Hopper.
I know.
Oh, it's so fucking cute. Mm-hmm. And Steve Harrington in this season.
Love him. Yeah,
because you can tell that him and Nancy are slowly fading away from, or distancing each other.
Well, they did break up in this season, didn't they?
They didn't break up, but they did have a moment where when Will was gonna go sweat out the monster and Jonathan left with Joyce, Nancy looks at Steve and is like, it's okay, you can go, like, because I know you want to go. And that's kind of where it solidifies, like, yeah, you and Steve aren't together anymore. But Steve and the kids,
it's the cutest relationship. Like, Steve is so close to all the kids.
He's very older Dustin. Brother. And it's funny because they always joke, like, he's like, I'm the babysitter, I have to take care of him. But they hella step all over him.
I know, seriously.
But he's really sweet to them. And you're right, him and Dustin have a really cute friendship.
They really perfected his character arc. Mm-hmm. From how he started in the first season.
Yes.
Now he's just a caring dad for all of these kids.
I hope I'm doing a good job recapping these episodes.
No, you're doing great. You're honestly doing amazing. What would you give this season?
I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, but not my favorite out of all 4 seasons.
I think I'd agree. Same.
Mm-hmm. So going into season 3, this one is the equivalent of High School Musical 2 because summer. So
this one was my favorite in like the colors and style.
Yes.
It was very like popping, right? Like the colors were so vibrant and it does feel very summer. Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny because it starts off just like a normal teenage show because Dustin was gone for 2 weeks of summer and he comes back and he's just like, no one's gonna miss me. I know it. But as soon as he comes back, it's like they threw him like a little surprise. It's Lucas, Max, which by the way, Lucas and Max, they started dating at the end of season 2, which I thought was so cute. Lucas, Max, 11, Mike, and that's it, are waiting for Dustin. And they're like holding a like, welcome back, Dustin. And they scare him with noise and he hairsprays Lucas's eye.
Oh, was this when he was super into hairspray?
Yes, because of the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he comes back and it's so exciting because, you know, he hasn't seen his friends in a long time. But he left and a bunch of relationships have started. Yeah. So while he was gone, Mike and Elle have started dating and they like to just chill out at home. Well, 11's home, which is the cabin. And while Hopper's out there watching TV with the door 3 inches open, she's just in there making out with Mike.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Hopper will look and is like, hey, what are you guys doing in there? And we'll like open the door and they're like sitting on opposite sides of the bed.
Like, what are you talking about? We were just vibing, actually.
We're just sitting here, Hopper.
We were just looking at... Oh, wait, they don't have Twitter.
No. We were just looking at birds that do tweet.
Whoa, they make them like that?
Yeah, crazy. It's becoming like very normal because it's funny. Jim Hopper goes to like it's like a convenience store.
Oh, I love this.
And Joyce
part.
is working, and then he's like
ranting.
I don't even fucking understand. I'm gonna fucking kill that kid.
Yeah.
I swear to you, they're always freaking kissing.
He's just very overprotective over her, so he doesn't understand how to navigate his own emotions.
Yes.
And what to do about them being so over each other, all over each other.
Because he keeps getting angry, but his anger doesn't really translate to the kids.
And he doesn't really know how to talk to Eleven about it, so Joyce does tell him, like, oh, you should write it out then.
Yeah.
You should just write out your feelings. And he's just like,
okay.
Write out my feelings.
It's weird. I don't talk like this because it's funny because it's very like, I understand that you and Mike are progressing in your relationship, but we should establish boundaries. Mm-hmm. You know, you're just around Mike too much.
Little boundaries, and I don't even like Mike.
When Hopper goes home to talk to them, he's like getting ready. He's like,
Zen.
I appreciate that you two are, you know, into each other and you're dating. And then Mike leans over to Eleven and whispers something, and Eleven starts laughing. And then she whispers something.
They ruined the moment.
And then Hopper's like, wait, actually, Mike, your mom just called. And he's like, what, my mom? Yeah, something's wrong
your grandma.
with your grandma. He's like, what's wrong with Nana? And they go to the car.
She's sick.
I know. So Mike and Hopper go to the car, and he's like, we gotta go. Something's wrong with Nana. And then Hopper's like, nothing's wrong with Nana. So let me tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna do this and this and this to your relationship. You cannot be around Elle all the damn time. So you gotta, you know, respect me, okay? And Mike gets scared. And he's sent home, and the next day he's just like, Elle, I can't hang out with you. My Nana,
my grandma, you know,
she's really sick. And it's funny because Mike's
mom
mom is like, what happened to Nana?
Yeah,
on the
she's
other
listening.
line.
Oh my god, remember home phones?
I
yeah,
know.
you could listen on the other other
God.
phone. And so she's listening to the conversation, and she's like, what? What's wrong with her? And she's like, Mom, get off the phone.
So I'll come back to that story, but that's what's happening with Mike right now, the whole 11 thing.
Yeah.
Lucas and Max, they're dating, but they're very on and off.
Yeah.
But they are into each other. They're just like
They're just very like childish, so it's very toxic.
Yes, it is. So while this whole thing with 11 is happening, Max does end up reaching out to 11, or I think it's the other way around. And Max is like, oh my God, he's lying to you. Like, he's totally lying to you. And she was like, no, well, he wouldn't lie. And it's like, no, he
Friends
is lying.
don't lie.
I know. He's like, no, but boyfriends do. Boyfriends lie all the time. So you know what? You got to realize that there is a life outside of boys. Let's go have a girls' day. So
that was really cute.
Yeah. So they go have a girls' day. But Will, Lucas, and Mike are together. And Mike is just like, I can't hang out with her because Hopper told me not to. I feel really bad.
But I should buy her something.
I should buy her something because, you know, it's what boyfriends do. But I only have $3.50.
Wasn't it like $2.70? It was something really
It was $3.50. It was $3.50 because he goes to a store and finds like a little golden teddy bear. And he's like, I want that one, sir. And it's like $300. He's like, fuck, I can't buy that. But they're both at this mall and they end up crashing into each other.
Yeah.
And at that point, 11 dumps.
She dumps his ass.
Yeah. Dumps Mike. So
his face was so funny. He was like
So all of this like drama between like
the couples
is happening. But remember, Dustin did come back. But because of all this drama with couples, he's kind of to himself. So he ends up going to the mall, which, by the way, is a big deal in this season because Hawkins is a very small town, and them adding the Starcourt Mall is big because it's ruining local businesses.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's here, and no one knows why they added it, but they did. And Dustin goes to the mall because his BFF,
Steve Harrington, works at an ice cream shop.
Scoops. He works at
Scoops Ahoy.
Scoops Ahoy.
With Robin, which she was introduced in this season, and she's absolutely amazing.
So when Dustin hung out with all of his friends, Max, Lucas, Mike, Will, and 11 at the beginning, he was trying to contact his girlfriend, which Susie, which no one believes was real.
Because he said he met her on like summer camp or something.
Yeah, and he was literally trying to connect with her for hours. So no one believed him. And I kind of didn't believe him either. I thought it was really sad. But he ended up picking up Russian transmission. And he goes to Steve and he's like, you know what? No one wanted to hang out with me, but they're going to be freaking crying and coming back to me when I'm rich. Because I just found Russian transmissions. And it can be a secret Russian ploy against America. And I'm going to solve what all of this is about. And you're going to help me because I don't know Russian. Here you go. And so him and Steve first it's him and Steve tried translating this Russian. And Robin, who she's very like sarcastic and likes to tease Steve, who is just trying to date, but he's so bad at it.
He has no game.
Yeah, he does. It's kind of funny. But Robin is like, okay, you two suck at translating Russian. I guess I'll help you. And they think they're getting this transmission from Russia. But it turns out that whatever secret code they have, they're talking about the mall.
Yeah.
So what they figure out while all the couple drama is happening with the other characters is that there's something up with that mall. And they notice that there are people, they're heavily armed, who are protecting something that's in that mall. They don't know why. Remember the couple drama. Let's talk about Joyce. So Joyce is single. She's single and she's free. And Hopper is also single and free. And they're kind of something about them is really close. Because remember, he went to her for couple advice. And every time they like hang out, they always have this moment where they kind of look at each other and Joyce is like, okay. And no. And Hopper's like, what if...
She's trying to keep like a boundary.
Yes. And Hopper's like, what if we go to Enzo's, which is a very fancy place, and we go at 7? No, we go at 8 p.m. and I pick you up, but as friends. And she's like, no, we go at 7 and we meet there because, it's not a date. It's not, I just want to clarify, not a date. And it's like, okay, it's not a date. I get it. Not a date. She hella stood him up. She hella stood him up. But the reason was because she noticed that the magnets at her job, for some reason, stopped being magnetized. And it was everywhere in this area. And she remembered that when there's something with a high electromagnetic field, the magnets stop working. And the only thing that had that was the entrance to the upside down. So she's like, something's going on. We have to make sure that the lab is okay. And it's funny because Hopper doesn't believe her. It's like, okay, fine. Let's check the lab at maybe 7. Oh, wait. No, it was like, let's check it at 8. No, 7. We'll meet there. Yeah, we'll meet there. And it's like, oh my God, you don't fucking believe me. But you have to believe me. Something's going on. They go to the lab and they don't find anything, which at first is like, maybe it was just your mind. But there's someone there who attacks Hopper. So something is going on. And it has to do with the mayor of the town too. Like they're not sure why the person who attacks them is someone that they saw leave the mayor's office. So it's like, okay, something's going on. While that's happening, couple drama, Enzo couple, all this is happening. So Nancy and Jonathan, which is Mike's sister and Will's brother, are currently dating and they're working in a news firm. And no one takes Nancy seriously because she's a girl. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to go find a fucking story. And she finds a story about these rats that apparently are eating fertilizer and no one knows why they're doing that. And they're not normal rats because when they get too full and when they get to a certain area, they do explode. And
fun.
I know. And no one believes her. And people actually get mad at her because the person she interviewed about these rats is schizophrenic. So it's like, did you even know about that? You didn't even bother to check what she's saying is not going to be true. But she knows it is something because like there has to be a reason behind this. So let's connect all the stories now. So while Max and Eleven are hanging out, after she dumps Mike's ass, she checks on the boys to see like, what are they doing after, letting Eleven go? And they're just being boys. They're being so disgusting. Yeah. But she laughs at it and she's like, okay, let's play a game where we check on what other people are doing. And Max has an older brother. His name is Billy.
And he was introduced in the second season.
He was, and he was a jerk.
He was a bully to her, honestly. Yep. And he was also racist.
He was racist because he didn't want Max hanging out with Lucas.
I think that people forget that he was really unhinged because he almost ran over the kids. Like,
he did.
They were on the road and they were on their bikes. And he was like,
In season 2.
I'm going to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, so he was really mean to Max.
He was really mean to Max, but when they check on him, he is just looking at his car. Or no, he's in a dark place, and it's just him and his car, and there's something in the back of his car, and it's like lifeguard clothes, and it's like, what the fuck was that? Mm-hmm. So when I don't remember the situation, but they go to Max's house, and they find a lifeguard fanny pack that does not belong to Billy, because he is a lifeguard, but it doesn't belong to Billy. And they go to the pool that he works at and figure out that it belongs to a girl who, when Elle goes to see her in like the mind space to find where she's at, she's scared. Mm-hmm. But when they go to this girl's house, she's fine. And Billy's also there. So it's like, what the fuck is happening? So everything seems
normal.
So Max and Elle are confused, but they're like, okay, we're just going to leave it at that and we're going to leave. But when they do leave, this girl and Billy attack the girl's parents, and they're speaking in a way that is very reminiscent of what happened to Will in the second season. So even though even though Hopper and Joyce do figure out that the gate is still closed, we start to see that whatever attacked Will didn't leave. Mm-hmm. It's still there. And that's what's causing these crazy rats. That's what's causing the hive mind, people connecting, attacking each other and trying to become one big group. Mm-hmm. Because when it attacked Billy, it did mention to him, like, it's your job to collect people. Like, to collect people and make a strong group for us to attack. So that's what he's doing. Let's go back to Dustin, Robin, and Steve, who now have a new addition to the team, Lucas's little sister, Erica. And it's so funny. She's so confident in herself. She always says, like, you can't spell America without Erica. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so true, but weird in a way.
I mean, you're that patriotic.
But she's so smart, and she's so tiny that they want to use her to get into this, like, Russian, I guess, secret
headquarters.
Yeah, because they think whatever's in there is going to make them a lot of money, whatever's going on. And when they go in there, they realize it's like a bunch of sludge. Mm-hmm. And they get trapped inside of this headquarters. And Dustin and Erica get separated from Robin and Steve. They get separated, and Dustin tries to reach out to, like, everyone else with his radio, but it's not picking up connection because wherever they're at, they're really below the mall, but they know whatever's happening is not right. Mm-hmm. So Steve and Robin do end up getting drugged because they're trying, the Russians are trying to figure out, like, who they're working for. How did they get here? And it's funny because they're so drugged, but they're like, we work at Scoops. We scoop ice cream. Uh-huh. And they're completely out of it. Erica, Dustin ends up getting them out, even though they're completely drugged, and they, like, hide them at the movie theater because they can't go anywhere with the way they're at, or the way they're acting. And it's so funny because they walk into Back to the Future, and you know Back to the Future is a really trippy movie, mostly if you're drugged. So they're like, what the fuck is happening? Isn't that his mom that he's dating? So they're, like, watching this movie, and it's really cute. I do want to mention that Robin and Steve have a heart-to-heart in the bathroom after they finish throwing up. Because Steve is like, I'm not lucky with girls, but there is a girl that I do like. Work with her at Scoops.
Well, it starts off because she asked about Nancy.
Yes, and if you've ever been in love.
Yeah, and he mentions Nancy's name, and she's like, she's so pretty.
Yeah, and it's like, no, she's different, but, this other girl I like, she's really the one. I think she's the one.
He's like, I've never laughed this hard or as hard as I have this summer, and she means so much to me.
And and Robin did bring up when they were in the Russian secret base that she couldn't keep her eyes off of Steve when they went to school together because she was sort of obsessed with him. Mm-hmm. But she was like, don't get it wrong. I wasn't looking at you because I liked you. I was looking at you because I couldn't stand that this other girl was looking at you.
Yeah. And Steve is so funny because he at first didn't understand.
Yeah, he's like, but it's a girl.
Yeah, what do you mean? I don't understand. And she's like, Steve.
And he's like, oh. But I love the freaking transition because he's like, I don't even know what you see in her. Like, her singing is freaking
She's
atrocious.
so nasally.
She's like, no, it sounds beautiful. Really? Really? It sounds like a fucking Muppet. Like, what? You gotta agree with me. And, like...
So he's, like, making it as easy as possible. And he's just like, hey, you have bad taste.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I thought that scene was so cute. Their friendship.
Recently saw that scene again because it was trending on like Twitter, I think. And I just really love just like how even like the show handled her coming out, especially for the time.
Yeah.
It being the 80s.
Yes.
I was like, damn.
And just freaking applaud the show for Steve because he started off as kind of a jerk. But I like that everything that he's done in season 2, 3, and even 4, he always puts everyone else's feelings first before his own.
Yeah.
So he's very careful with the way that he does things because he really cares about people. Like him, even though he still loves Nancy, and you can tell he still loves Nancy, he's not going to do anything about it because he'd rather Nancy be happy.
He's just way more thoughtful.
Yeah.
As a character.
So when they escape this base, Dustin, Erica, Robin, and Steve are at the mall. And just know that everyone meets up again. Just like every season, everyone meets up at the end. And they meet up at the mall because they realize that whatever was in Will didn't leave. In order to get rid of it, they need to break into the Russians' secret lab because the Russians were trying to open up the gate to the Upside Down. So they need to go there and close it. And hopefully when they close it, it'll close the connection with the Upside Down and kill this parasite that's infecting everyone. So Hopper and Joyce end up going to go close it. And while that's happening, the huge shadow monster from season 2 that Will had drawn is there and is attacking all of the kids. And they're trying so hard just to hide from it because they can't fight it. But it gets to the point where...
And it even overpowers 11.
Yeah, it gets to the point where she can't even fight it. And near the very, very end, even though Billy was taken over by this monster, he does look at Max, he looks at everyone, he looks at 11, and in his final moments does sacrifice himself in order to save 11. At the very moment where Joyce and Hopper are trying to figure out how to close the gate, Joyce figures out that she needs to close it while Hopper's inside. So Hopper also sacrifices himself. And season 3 ends with Billy's death, Hopper's death, and 11 losing her powers. And it's very sad because all of this hurt that has happened. Oh, and just to mention, freaking Hopper at the very end when they were going to close the gate, Joyce does bring up, like, you know, when this is all over, maybe we can meet at Enzo's. And it's like, oh, she's like, maybe we can meet at Enzo's on Friday at 8. And he brings up, like, I can't do 8 because that's when I watch TV with Elle, you know? It's like, oh, no, it's okay. What if we go earlier and you pick me up? Like a date. And he's like, oh my God, just to clarify, like a date, like a date? And it's really cute, but he does die at the end of season 3. And it ends with Joyce, Will, Jonathan moving along with 11, who is taken in as like an adoptive kid. The end.
Well, it also ends with her reading Hopper's letter.
Yeah, the letter that he was supposed to read about her dating. But
Mike in the beginning. Remember that?
That's the first time Hopper calls himself a dad. And it's really, really sweet and very bittersweet.
Yeah.
But yes, they do move away.
Because it's just, there's so much that has happened in this place that they're like, we need to get away from this town.
Can I tell you, I didn't know anything about season 4. So when Hopper died at the end of season 3, I was a fucking mess. I sobbed so hard. I like had to take a break. I cried so hard I had to take freaking ibuprofen because my head hurt. I was so sad.
But then at the end, the American part. With the Russians, at the end when they show the Russians again, and they like have a Demogorgon or something, and they were gonna give it into the American, but the guy was like, no, not the American.
Oh, yeah.
You did it? You went over your head?
I forgot about that, but yes, I do remember that scene. I didn't know why they did that.
That was the last scene.
The last scene of season 3. So I get, oh my God, I'm so fucking stupid. Because I was too busy like, oh my God.
You couldn't hear.
The dad with the fat ass is gone. Oh my God.
Hey, wait, we'll talk about your crush later.
Okay, sorry. But
this season, hit me like a ton of freaking bricks.
Good. It was so good.
It was such a good season. Also, the part with Billy killed me too because he apologizes to her like while he's dying. He says sorry.
There's some people that really like Billy.
Oh, I know.
I do wish that he had a moment of growth because 11 does look into his past. And that's what kind of breaks him out of the spell of the monster that's inside of him. Because she starts to remind him of like, you know, your mom loved you. You loved your mom. You had such a beautiful childhood. And he comes back and saves 11. But it's really sad. But finally, we're at season 4, volume 1.
The first volume. And, well, 3, I would give it a 5.
5.
It was
Me
so
too.
so good.
Freaking good.
So volume 1, I binged it with my brother because we were like, we're avoiding all spoilers. And volume 1 also has a lot of storylines that are just like intertwining.
Yes.
So at the very start of it, it starts off like they normally do, where it seems like, oh, it's a normal day and they're going back to school.
Yes.
But keep in mind that Joyce, Jonathan, Will, and 11, well, she's addressed by everyone else as Jane. They're in California. And I don't know if we said it, but this story takes place in Indiana.
Yes.
Like that.
Hawkins, Indiana.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know if we said it, but surprise. And so at the start of this season, Mike
is late, like always, in every beginning of every episode of every season. Yes.
It's like the bunny from Alice in Wonderland.
Oh my God. He's late to the game, I think.
And because, again...
They're freshmen in high school, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
See, you... Okay. I know we're interjecting, but it's for you that you saw it in one sitting. You saw them grow in 2 days.
So fucking fast.
You saw them grow up in 2 days.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's weird. It's kind of like, because it's weird because for some reason I thought season 3 Steve, Nancy, and Jonathan had graduated, but they're seniors.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So it's pretty cool that they go to the same school now.
Yeah.
Okay,
so go ahead and start it off.
Oh, do you want me to summarize?
Go ahead and start it off because I don't remember how it starts exactly. Okay, what's the first scene? Let me try to remember the first scene.
Mike is late, and he is late for the basketball game that Lucas is playing at. And Lucas is all of a sudden this cool kid in high school.
I know.
So
remember, they were bullied.
You see Lucas go to this basketball game, and he's trying to like make everyone go. And he even tries to talk to Max, which for some reason Max is really cold to him. But remember, they were dating like not that long ago. For me, a few hours ago.
Yeah. But it is implied that Max has been very to herself for a while.
Yes, she has. She has not been sharing her feelings. In this first episode, they're having like an all-school rally and a game. And it's funny because Lucas keeps mentioning like, you know, we're in high school. We want popularity. We told each other that we want popularity. There's going to be a big game. You need to tell Eddie that we got to cancel Hellfire. And it's like, no, we can't cancel Hellfire.
We can't cancel Hellfire. Can't you just move the game?
It's like, no.
They really were making it seem like it was easier for the game to be moved
than this thing called Hellfire.
Right.
So it was like, no, we can't move the game. You have to cancel Hellfire. And it's like, okay, fine. We'll talk to Eddie. So it's Dustin and Mike who go over to Eddie.
And it's during like lunchtime. And they're in like a table in the cafeteria. And Eddie looks a lot older.
Yeah, he does.
Mike and Dustin.
But because he's been in high school for a while.
Yeah, and he says it too. He's like, I'm feeling lucky this time. This year, I'm going to graduate for sure. And then there's other people there too. And we realize that Hellfire is just like a Dungeons and Dragons
club. Yes. And
they get into it.
They go up to Eddie and they're like, why don't we just move it? Because, you know,
the game.
Lucas is not going to be able to go.
Oh, yeah. They don't mention the game, right? Or do they?
They don't. I don't think they do, but I think they know that Lucas is in basketball. But they do mention like Lucas is not going to be there. And he's like, then we get a replacement because we can't move Hellfire.
Yeah.
You guys are almost done with the campaign. You have to finish Hellfire. Like, just because Sinclair, or Lucas Sinclair, because that's his full name, is in there doesn't mean you can just switch it on me. So go find a replacement. and they go to look for a replacement, and they can't find anyone in high school who wants to play. And it's funny because Dustin goes up to Max and is like, would you like to join Hellfire?
Our really, really fun club.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, do I get those cool t-shirts? He's like, yeah. Oh my God, we made it ourselves.
And I get to match with you guys.
And then it's like, you don't really want a t-shirt. No, I don't. It's like, oh.
And then she just rolls away in her skateboard.
But while all of this is happening, in California, we see that Elle and Will are living a pretty normal high school life. And she's working on like a diorama of like a historical or a person in history that she looks up to. And while she's doing this, she's kind of narrating it to as if she's writing a letter to Mike. And it's like, oh, Mike, everything here in California is so great.
I love it here.
I love it.
Son.
Joyce is so nice. She works from home now. She says she loves the freedom. Jonathan is kind of on his own thing. And then Will
has been just shut up in his room. I think he's working on a project. He might be dating someone, actually.
No, because it's like he's painting something. He's got really into painting. I think he likes someone right now, but I'm not sure. And then me, Elle, freaking loving life, have best friends at school. And no one like ever leaves me alone. I'm just so popular. But
so she's pretty much lying to him in the letter because we quickly learn that she's actually being hella bullied.
Yeah, when she goes into her class, it's so sad too because they do this project. So the person who goes before her did a PowerPoint on like a famous person,
Helen Keller.
Yeah, and then when Elle goes up, she starts presenting a diorama she made of Hopper. And then
she did it off of like the cabin, and she even kept the door like inches open.
Yeah, and she drew like the wires that he kept on the outside to alarm people if someone came close. And while she starts talking, the main bully, whose name is Angela, is just like, I don't think you understood what you were supposed to do. We were supposed to do it on someone in history who's important. Yeah. And it's like, oh, well.
No, she said famous people.
Who are heroes. And then Elle says, well, he is my hero. He's a hero to many. He's saved people. And she's like, well, probably a hero in your local newspaper. And everyone starts laughing. And I fucking hate that teacher doesn't do shit.
She's kind of like, I mean, you're kind of right. He's not famous.
That's so fucking stupid. But she gets treated like trash. And she even gets pushed by Angela when they're outside. And she doesn't admit to the teacher that Angela did it, but the teacher kind of knows. So she's like, Angela, come over here. And Angela gets in trouble. And
so because Angela gets in trouble, they start calling her a snitch.
They do.
Even though she didn't even snitch or say anything.
And it's so sad because they step on her diorama, and Will comes up later and he's like, it's okay, we can fix it together. And it's like,
and she's mad at him too because she thinks that the idea was stupid. And she's kind of like, well, why didn't you tell me that it was like a dumb idea or something? And he's like, I didn't think it was a bad idea. And she's like, friends don't lie.
I'm not lying. I love their relationship, by the way.
Yeah.
I wish they had more brother-sister moments.
I wish that she had more brother-sister moments with Jonathan.
Yeah.
But
the three of them would have been really cute. I would have loved to see their interactions. But Will's a little moody in this one. But I mean,
okay. You go through a lot and all of a sudden you're moody.
Mike is supposed to come to visit California
for spring break.
And he is set to come. Remember though, before he comes, there's going to be the Hellfire D&D game, but also Lucas's basketball game. And Lucas is inviting everyone to come, and he even invites Max, but Max is like, why the fuck am I going to go to that?
Yeah, he gives her a ticket. But at the same time, while this is happening, Max bumps into him, right? But she bumps into him near the guidance counselor.
Yes.
And she notices Chrissy, which Chrissy was already introduced. She was introduced in the pep rally. And she's a cheerleader. And Chrissy comes out and she seems completely like distraught. And she's coming out. And I believe she goes straight into the bathroom and she's like kind of like crying.
Yeah. The game hasn't happened yet.
Right. And so Max at this point rejects Lucas and she's like, I'm not interested, don't want to go. And she goes into the bathroom and she hears Chrissy crying in the bathroom stall, and she's just like, are you okay? Is everything all right? And Chrissy's kind of like, Yeah, I'm good.
And it's weird because even after Max leaves, you hear knocking on the bathroom stall, and Chrissy's like, I'm good, you know?
Like, just leave already. And it's interesting because this season felt a lot more eerie to me.
It was scary, dude.
Yeah.
I had to watch it with the lights on because I get scared easily with like jump scares.
And this one was like 10 times more freaky than like the ones before it.
Chrissy was having hallucinations because she heard her mom's voice. And it was just like something was coming for her. It was purposefully scaring her.
And you kept hearing like the door being like rattled, like the stall was trying to open.
It even broke the bolts that were on the side of the bathroom stall.
Yeah.
And she has no idea what's going on. So I do want to talk a little bit about the game. I know that's a serious thing that happened, but the game is really cute because when the game starts, when the national anthem starts, they're like, oh, we're going to bring one of our old students, Tamara. And they bring Tammy, who's like the Muppet singer.
Robin's first crush, or that crush that was mentioned in the previous season.
And the girl ends up singing, and she looks at Steve, who's sitting on like the other side of the bleachers. And Steve's like, it's a fucking Muppet. What did I tell you?
And it's so cute because Steve and Robin aren't standing close enough where they can have a conversation.
Yeah.
But you can, like, they just, like, say one word to each other, and it's like they know what they mean.
Yeah.
And it's, like, really, really cute.
But it's also really cute because Robin mentions to herself, like, I guess she does sound like a Muppet. And the girl standing next to her is like, oh my God, you're right. She does sound like a Muppet.
And that's her current crush.
Yeah. And it's really sweet.
And going back to the beginning.
I knew what you were going to say.
Going back to the beginning, when they were like starting school again, her and Steve were in the car and they were talking about her current crush, which I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But Steve was kind of like, just go for it. Yeah. She likes boobs.
I like boobs. You like boobs.
Who doesn't like boobs? and Robin's like, don't say boobs.
Yeah,
Stop
it's
it.
So cute.
I really love their relationship together.
I do too.
It's like one of my faves.
I do too.
But while the game is happening, even more importantly, Hellfire is happening.
And the replacement, remember, was America Erica.
Erica. I don't think we mentioned that, but it's Erica.
Erica, which is Lucas's little sister.
And the replacement is Erica, which is Lucas's little sister.
Yes.
And so they get really into the game, and the game master, the headmaster, is Eddie. And so he's like going through everything. And it's so funny because in the first season, remember, it was the Demogorgon.
Yes.
And now it's Vecna. And Vecna's curse and all that. And the guys are like, Vecna's dead. And he's like, well, he's not dead. He's actually back. And better than ever.
Oh my gosh. And it's so freaking dramatic because they all are trying to fight Vecna even though they're all about to die. And it's like, we gotta roll and fight. And the only two that are left is Dustin and Erica. And Dustin rolls and he fails. So the only one who can do it is Erica. And she rolls a nat 20, a natural 20 in Dungeons and Dragons, which is super good to roll. And they cheer, they're happy. Well, at the same time, Lucas wins the basketball game. But it's a little sad because even though Lucas wins, he looks over at, the school when the doors open and it's Hellfire plus his sister coming out, super happy, cheering, and he's just kind of
he's like coming out of the gym.
Yes.
And so he's looking at this, like the other section of the school, and out the door is like the group.
And you can tell he feels a little like
out of it.
Feels like missing out. A little bit of FOMO.
FOMO. Oh my God. My friend didn't know what that meant.
What did they think it meant? Just
I
foam?
don't know. I said, I don't want to get FOMO. And she was like, what is
Are you
that?
sick?
Bless you.
Oh, I did want to mention something. Nancy and Jonathan, who have been going strong for 2 seasons, are having issues.
They're having issues because remember, he is in Cali and she's still in Indiana. So their long distance isn't really,
working out because they were supposed to, while Mike was supposed to come to California for spring break, Jonathan was supposed to go to Indiana for spring break, but he said no.
Because he didn't want to leave his family.
He didn't want to leave his family, and he also doesn't want to admit to her that he doesn't want to go to the same college as her.
Because that was their plan, that they were going to like meet up back in school and go to the same college.
Yes, so it's a little tough for them right now. The first Vecna thing that we see, which is the first monster of this season, is with Chrissy. So Chrissy is having these hallucinations, and she reaches out to Eddie, which, remember, he's the main guy from Hellfire.
And he's also a senior, and he's older, and he definitely has, like, these, like, vibes.
Yeah.
Like rockero vibes, emo vibes, and especially during this time not acceptable at all.
Yes.
So he's an outsider.
He is. And Chrissy reaches out to Eddie and is like, I know that you sell weed. You need to sell me something because I need it. And it's
then she's like, but do you have anything stronger though?
Yeah, so he does offer her stronger drugs.
But they're back at his place.
Yeah, so they do go to his place together. And when they go there, she starts to hallucinate again.
Yeah, but where he lives is at a trailer park, which is right across from Max.
So Max does see Chrissy go into Eddie's trailer. But when they go in there, she starts to hallucinate. And while she's running in the upside down, it just kind of looks like she's standing there with her eyes rolled back.
Yeah. So her eyes are like wide out.
Yeah. And that's where the famous audio comes from. The Chrissy, wake up.
I don't like this.
Chrissy, wake up. Yes.
Yeah.
So she
Such
doesn't
a
wake up.
Bob, actually.
That is such a bob.
Okay, the first time you watched this, I don't know if you already... Wait, did you already know what happened with her?
No.
Were you scared for her?
Well, no, wait, let me say that again. I did know she died. I didn't know about how she died. Oh. So when that happened, I like had a moment where I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn on the lights. I'm just gonna see her for a while because I'm
scared.
Because I had heard the audio, so I knew she was gonna die.
Oh,
I just didn't know how.
Well, I mean, I binged it when it first came out. And I was like so nervous for her. I was like, please, Chrissy, you got this, girl. Because I really liked their connection together.
I did too.
With Eddie and Chrissy. I thought they, had a really good relationship. Or at least the prospect of a good relationship. A good friendship,
but
maybe.
She didn't make it. She crashed into Vecna in the Upside Down. And he was like, I'm going to end your suffering.
Yeah, and just to remind you, she is still in the trailer park physically, but mentally she's in the Upside Down.
Yes.
And where she is, I believe it's her home, right?
No, she was in oh, no, it was her home.
It was like her house, and then she sees Vecna, and Vecna's kind of like, it looks like a man, but also looks like a demon.
Yes, he does. So she doesn't make it, and because she died in this trailer house, or in the trailer park, Eddie knows that no one's gonna believe him.
Wait. Okay. I'm sorry. Well, the way that she died, it is very obvious that it could not have been him because she like floated up. Well, I think she slammed on the ceiling first, right? Yeah. And then she floated up, and then her whole limbs twisted.
Yes.
In a way where it's like no one person can do that to another person.
But people believed it was Eddie, but then some people believed it was the devil.
Yeah.
So Eddie did not want to explain it to the cops because he knew no one would believe him. So he ran away.
It was really sad because he was so scared.
So when they hear about this happening, at the same time, Nancy is a reporter at the school. So she goes to the site where it's happening. And then Max reaches out. I think it's Max who reaches out to them first, who's like, I saw her go in there.
Yeah. But then at the same time, when she heard the screaming, her lights flickered.
Oh, yes.
And so she knew, something's off again.
Yes.
And so I think she reached out to the friends, right? And she said, I think something happened to Eddie.
Yes. And so they all go kind of hunting for Eddie.
Because remember, Eddie is friends with Dustin.
Yes.
And Mike, but Mike is gone. He's in California right now.
And by the way, Chrissy... she's dating the main basketball player.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Me too. It doesn't really matter. But
he does kind of matter, but we'll just call him main basketball guy.
Main basketball guy, who is friends with Lucas, by the way, because Lucas is in the basketball team. But now because Eddie was the one who did this, he's like, oh my gosh, Hellfire, it's a cult. Yeah. There's Satanist cult.
And I knew it.
I knew it the whole time. It's their fault. We need to find Eddie. And do what this town is too afraid to do. So they're basically gonna kill Eddie. And Lucas is like, oh no, but Hellfire is just D&D cult. And everyone's like, D&D, it's Dungeons and Dragons. No one?
There's dragons?
Oh my gosh, it's worse than I thought.
Are you sure it's not demons and dragons? Back to Nancy.
Okay.
Nancy has like a partner, right? Because she still works for the newspaper. And so she has a partner. And when they go out to check the place, the trailer park, her partner starts acting weird.
Yes.
He starts hallucinating as well. And he starts hearing, because there's a clock that chimes.
Yes.
The grandfather clock.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do it again.
No, I'm embarrassed.
You did so good.
Okay.
And so This character also experiences the same thing that Chrissy did, where he starts to hear things.
Yes.
And he starts to hallucinate, and he's in the upside down world in a way.
Yeah, and his hallucinations, which we start to notice, everyone's hallucinations is something in their past that is haunting them.
It's like kind of like a guilt thing.
Yes.
And his was like having to do with a
car accident he was in, and he didn't fess up to when it happened. Mm-hmm. So when that happens, also is lifted into the air, cracked in many places, and falls. That one scared me the most, by the way, because I hated how the body fell.
It was pretty creepy, actually.
Oh, God.
Now that I think about it. Can we pause for a second on Hawkins? Why don't we talk about what's happening with our girl in California?
So Mike is now in California.
Remember, this is spring break.
It's spring break, and he's been lied to by 11 with how things are going. So she's like painting this picture like, oh my gosh, we're going to go have burritos. Crazy, I know.
And my favorite burrito place.
Yeah, where I go with all my friends. And we're going to go to this Rinkarama, which is where I go with all my friends and my best friend Angela. You know, we always go there.
It's rollerblading.
And then Will is just like, Angela, really?
Yeah. It's really sad because Will's also excited to see Mike, but they have grown apart and it's very obvious.
Oh my God. And it sucks.
He's holding on to the painting that he's been working on, but it's rolled up.
Yeah.
And Mike's like, "What's that?"
Oh,
it's nothing.
It's nothing to ask about it. It's weird of you.
I know. And so,
but it sucks too. Just want to mention at the end of season 3, when Elle was going through a lot, Mike did yell out, you know, you guys try to use her like a thing, but I just don't want to lose her because I love her so much. And everyone was like, oh my God.
He said the L word.
The L word. And at the end of season 3, Elle heard it, and Elle was just like, I love you too. But he never said it back after that.
Yeah.
So in every letter that he's ever sent.
It was in the heat of the moment.
In every letter that he's ever sent to Elle in season 4, he always writes from Mike.
Never not love Mike.
Oh
from Mike.
And she notices. She notices. But, you know, there's that strain. But when they go to the rink, Angela's there. And they decide to pull a prank on her where they basically just torment her in the middle of the rink while calling her a snitch. And
they're throwing milkshakes at her.
Yeah. And at that point, Mike goes to like the DJ and is like, you need to turn off the music. What you're doing is not right. And they turn off the music, but she falls at that point and a milkshake spills all over her. And she's so embarrassed. She doesn't want to see anyone. And she's so angry at Angela that she finally loses her cool, gets a skate, and just slams it in Angela's face.
In her nose.
How did you feel about that?
I loved it.
I loved it too.
I was like, I've been wanting her to punch her so bad. Angela is such a horrible person.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm glad she did it.
That's what needed to happen.
I'm glad she did it.
Because of that, they did press charges against Elle. And it sucks because, you know, there's so much going on where she wants to talk to Mike and figure things out. And then Mike and Will are kind of not having a good moment either because it's like, I'm third wheeling your guys' date on my birthday, by the way.
That everybody forgot.
Yeah, even Will. But nothing's going well. But when they arrest Elle, she ends up getting found by Dr. Owens.
Well, before she's arrested, there is a moment between Elle and Mike where she mentions that it bothers her that he has never said love.
And he couldn't say
after that moment. And he's just like, I don't understand what the problem is. But he's still not saying it to her.
Yeah, he can't say it.
Yeah, but yes, and in this moment, she is arrested.
She is arrested, and it's so sad because they are like, I'm going to get you out, I'm going to get you out. But it's set that she's going to go to juvie. And at this point, Joyce, by the way, is gone because Joyce did get something in the mail that it was like a Russian doll that had a phone number. And it was like, this number, call Enzo, Hopper is still alive. And it's like, oh my God, Hopper's still alive? So she calls Myers, which is...
someone they mentioned in this... No, someone who was there last season.
Yeah, who's very into conspiracies and everything. But they tell him, or Joyce tells him that, like, she got this doll. And Myers comes to help her because it's like, yeah, it gave you a phone number, but it's very sketch. So let's make sure they can't trace us. And they call this phone number.
But before this, he's also telling Joyce how he's into karate now.
Yeah, because, he has to defend himself. So he's a black belt.
Yeah.
So he's very proud of that. But they do call the number and they say, Hopper's alive. If you want him, you need to come to Alaska with $40,000.
Cash.
And it's like, oh my God.
Oh, bitch, I'm going right now.
I already have it in my pocket.
No hesitation at all. She was like, already booked it.
Oh my God, that's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway, she goes with Myers. So they're gone. Meanwhile, Elle's getting arrested. But when she gets arrested, Owens, who's the doctor who helped Will, is like, I know your powers are gone and we need to bring them back because something's happening and we need your powers more than ever.
Mm-hmm. We need him to save the world.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm down. Mm-hmm. I'm down. And she writes a letter to Mike before she leaves. And it's like, I'm going to go become a superhero again.
From Elle.
She's
so funny. The sense of humor.
Love
untouched.
Love that. So remember, back home in Hawkins, Indiana.
Mm-hmm. Now we're going back.
People are dying left and right. And what they realize, even though it's not Eddie's fault, the people who are dying are going to the counselor. They're saying that they have headaches.
Well, Max is the one who realizes this because she did see
their records.
Chrissy. No, she saw Chrissy coming out of the guidance tech. And so she went to the guidance tech and she was pretending like, oh, I'm going to finally talk about Billy.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, by the way, Chrissy, what did she talk about? Mm-hmm. And the guidance counselor is like, I can't reveal that. Mm-hmm. And Max gets a little upset about it, but then they end up breaking into her office later on.
Yes.
And that's when she goes through their files and she realizes, oh, they've been having severe headaches and they hallucinate, which is revealed that that's exactly what she's going through.
And remember, she hasn't been talking to anyone recently.
But throughout the first couple episodes, because I don't remember what episode this happens on, she has been taking constantly like Tylenol.
Yes.
But it's not revealed as to why until she says that she's been having really bad headaches.
Yes.
And she has her first hallucination in that moment.
Which is seeing a clock, which everyone else also had that hallucination.
Mm-hmm. And they all die within 24 hours?
24 hours. And she just had her first one. So she's like, I'm going to die in 24 hours. Just to mention, too, the basketball boys, they figured out that Eddie's really close to Dustin. So they're like, if we can find Dustin, then we can find Eddie. Mm-hmm. And Lucas is like, oh, my God, I got to go protect my friends. So he goes over and he is currently with Max, Dustin, Steve, Robin, and I think Nancy.
Yeah.
Nancy's also there. But they're all together and they're preparing for the worst. So while they're preparing for the worst, Nancy has an idea because apparently because everyone who's dying, their eyes sink in and they're, cracked in places that shouldn't be cracked. And so Nancy realizes that happened a long time ago with someone whose name was Victor Creel.
Mm-hmm. So she makes a connection to a case that happened years ago.
Who is currently in a mental hospital. Mm-hmm. So she talks to Robin or she talks to everyone and is like, I think there's something going on here.
And it's connected.
So I'm going to disguise myself as a scholar and take Robin with me. And we'll
who's
both look
also going to be a scholar.
And it's funny because Steve's like, her?
She's dumb.
Meanwhile, she's just like, my mom always says that I talk too much. And when I talk too much, it's because I'm nervous. And she's going off. And then Steve's like, her? Are you sure?
You're going to take her? Which, by the way, also to mention, they do find Eddie. Eddie is hiding out at one of his friends, what is it called? An extra house? It's not the house. Their shed?
Yes.
So he's hiding out in the shed.
So they do find him. And in order to help him, Nancy thinks it's good to talk to Victor to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. And they do end up talking to Victor. And Victor, who has been seen as mentally unstable, is actually okay. It's just no one believes him. Mm-hmm. He went through Vecna's curse. Mm-hmm. And he was living in a house with his family, and it affected his family so much.
Yeah, so it was him, his wife, and his 2 kids.
And he was actually going to die. Mm-hmm. He was experiencing his hallucinations like everyone else, but at his last moments.
Well, the radio was playing during their dinner.
And he said he heard the voice of an angel.
Which was the song.
Which was a song that got him out of Vecna's curse. Mm-hmm. So they learned this, and they escape because they...
Well, as they're learning this, Max is hallucinating.
Yes,
and she's
somewhere else, because she had went to go see Billy's grave because she's saying bye to everyone because she thinks she's gonna die.
Yeah. And so she's hallucinating and she's running away from Vecna in her hallucination.
Yes.
So Nancy and Robin are running from the mental hospital because, their plan wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "You're not scholars."
And Dustin, because they're all Dustin, Steve, Lucas, and Max are all together.
In the cemetery.
Yeah, Dustin is calling Robin and Nancy and it's like, "Did you guys figure anything out?" It's like, "It's connected to music. You have to play their favorite song." And so they bring all the discs.
Cassette
They bring all the
tapes.
cassette tapes and they ask Lucas, like, "What's her favorite song?" And they find it, and it's Kate Bush's
Running Up the Hill.
Running Up That Hill. Freaking banger of a song, by the way.
Yeah.
But they play that song for her, and she hears it while she's with Vecna. And she just runs towards the vision of everyone trying to get her down.
Yeah, so she sees kind of like a split in whatever world she's in, and the split is showing like her actual world, and it's showing her floating and all of her friends below her like trying to like call out to her.
Yep. So it's really sweet because when she does finally go through, she comes back down and she's in tears, but they all hug.
Yeah, everyone's hugging.
Oh my God. I love that freaking found family type shit.
Yeah.
I'm such a fucking fan.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since they were all that close. And just before she floated up in the air and had her moment, Lucas did talk to her because she was giving everyone letters.
Like goodbye letters.
And Lucas was like, "I don't want a letter from you.
I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm here to talk to you. So
tell me now. Like, just talk to me now."
Yeah, and it was really sweet. Okay, well.
It's also revealed that the reason why she was Vecna'd, or nearly, was because she felt really guilty about Billy. Because, I don't know if Vecna's being honest, or if he's trying to manipulate it.
Yes.
It's either that she feels guilty because he saved them, or because she feels guilty for not feeling guilty.
Yes.
That he's dead.
Yes. So we don't really know, but she does have a lot of trauma because of Billy's death. So back to California. So Mike, Will, and Jonathan are at the house, and these agents come and they're like, "We took Elle and she's in our keep, but she's becoming a superhero because we need her. But none of you can contact her or anything." And then that's when Mike gets the letter that I'm becoming a superhero from Elle.
Yeah.
And
he keeps reading it over and over again. And Will's like, "Dude,
it's not going to change the
and
more
so
you
he
read it.
throws it away in the trash bin.
But they're being watched by these two agents, which they're really lazy agents. They're just kind of chilling, watching golf. And they're like, "We're just supposed to sit here while Elle's out here doing this. We need to get out of here." But it all goes to shit because, before I even say that letter that was stuck in his mind that Elle wrote, Will actually talks to him and says, "It's really hard to say your feelings sometimes," and basically has a heart-to-heart with him. He's like, "So next time you see her, just make sure you're honest with how you feel." And then Mike apologizes to Will and is like, "I haven't been fair to you. Like, I know I have Dustin, Lucas, I have Max, but you're my best friend. So when you left, I felt like I lost you." And it's so fucking sad.
They have a moment together. And honestly, Will deserves that.
Will deserves that.
He deserved that because even in season 3, he already felt like a disconnect between all of the friends because he missed out a good chunk of, the childhood year. Yeah. And so everyone was already interested in girls and he was kind of just like, "Guys, let's play D&D." And everyone was like, "No, we just want to talk to girls."
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So they pretty much escape.
They escape because they were going to order pizza and then escape with Argyle, who's Jonathan's friend that he met in California. But when they're ordering pizza, they hear the knock and it's like, "Oh my God, 30 minutes or less, am I right?" And when
these punctual kings.
When the agent opens the door, he immediately gets shot because it's a bunch of military people. While Argyle is coming down with the pizza, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
In his little van.
Jonathan's having a party without me, but it's literally like they're running with the one agent that got shot in the chest, And they're running with him. And it's like, oh my God, is that fucking dude bleeding? And it's like, drive. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, he's bleeding. And it's like, Argyle, you need to drive. So they drive out and he's like freaking out. Mm-hmm. And this guy's bleeding out in the back and basically tells Will, Mike, and Jonathan that Elle is okay. And she's currently with Nina.
Yes,
yeah,
Nina.
Currently with Nina. It's like,
oh no, he keeps saying Nina.
Yeah. And it's like, you need to tell us who Nina is. And he gives them a pen because he's about to write down the number. Mm-hmm. But then he passes away. And Argyle's like, oh my God, did someone just pass away in the back of my car? So they like get off the road and drive into like an empty lot and basically bury the body. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because like, you're not supposed to, it's a buried body. It should be hidden. And
Argyle is so high that he wanted to write it down on the pizza box. He was like, what was his name?
What was his name? I'll just write Agent Guy who got shot. And then
I'll write our names at the bottom.
I was like, why are you going to write our names? Like, why would you do that? But he can't write because the pen's not working. The pen's not working.
It's the pen that the agent gave him.
And then that's when Mike realizes like there's something in there. So they open the pen and there's a rolled up paper that has a phone number, mm-hmm. but it's not actually a phone number. It's something you have to plug into the computers. Mm-hmm. And the only computer person they know
is Susie.
Who, remember, is Dustin's girlfriend. Which, by the way, shout out to Susie in season 3 because the code to open the Russian safe was a number that she knew. Mm-hmm. And that's when they had their moment, the
singing one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I fucking love that.
Oh, yeah. So Dustin does have a girlfriend.
Did he does have a girlfriend. He does. He didn't lie.
It was Susie.
Yeah. But,
so they end up going to Susie's.
Utah. They go to Utah. So from California to Utah, which isn't that far. It's like a day trip. Mm-hmm. But they end up going to Susie because they need to figure out where Elle is. Indiana. We're back here. And the basketball boys and the whole town of Hawkins is actually like coming together at church. And it's like, something's going on and it's not right.
There's a demon lurking.
And the basketball boys is like, it's hellfire. It's hellfire. Look at this. And he like brings everyone a flyer of hellfire. Mm-hmm. and the Wheelers see Mike in it and they're like, oh, well, all of the main parents.
Yeah. Everyone who was in hellfire is on this flyer.
Yes. And so the basketball captain is just like, they're doing something and they're killing people and they're bringing Satan into this town and we shouldn't allow it. Mm-hmm. So then the whole town turns and is like, you're right. We're going to do something about it. So then the basketball boys end up figuring out where Eddie's staying. Mm-hmm. And Eddie tries to escape. He goes on a rowboat and tries to escape, and the basketball captain and another boy
friend
go into the water trying to chase him.
And we should also say that this friend had already been having hallucinations.
Uh-huh. And so when they went in the water, the friend levitates, freaking sinking eyes, and cracks and falls back into the water.
So when this was happening, I was kind of confused. I didn't know he was gonna float. I literally thought he was gonna like in the water, and I was like, he's not gonna know what happened to him.
Which, by the way, when that was happening at that exact moment, Nancy, Steve, Robin, Max, Dustin, Lucas were all in Victor Creel's old home. Mm-hmm. Because when Max had her hallucination, mm-hmm. she saw a door that was Victor Creel's front door. Yeah. So it's like whatever happened to Victor is connected to Vecna. Mm-hmm. And they figured out that Victor's home is Vecna's safe spot. Yeah. So when that boy floated up in the air and cracked, they actually saw where Vecna was staying when that happened. Mm-hmm. So they make that connection because they end up going to Eddie and like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Eddie, that you're like going fucking through this. But we're all together now, so we need to figure out what's happening. And they figure out.
Well, before that, all of these like police officers come to the lake house.
Yes.
And the main basketball guy is being interrogated in, the police station. Yeah. And he's like recounting everything that happened. And the police officers, they obviously know that it's not actually murders. Yeah. Or like, murders that they can understand. But to the public, they're like, yeah, it's totally Eddie. It's totally Eddie.
But then it's like, wait, but what were you doing, basketball captain?
Yeah, exactly. And so they start asking him to say everything. And he's like shaken up and he's explaining everything. And you would think that he would have this realization of like, whoa, there's something else happening because Eddie was over there and then his friend was just floating over there.
Yeah.
But he was like, no, it's a demon. Like,
demon.
He's possessed. I knew it. I knew it.
But, he's sounding crazy right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So they go, I don't remember why, but they end up going to this makeout point.
Well, because Eddie runs away from this area because it's like flooded with police officers now. And he goes to this makeout area that's like somewhere in the forest.
Yeah.
And I think he had like the radio or one of the radios, and then Dustin somehow talks to him and they figure out where he is.
But when they're going to him, Steve is like, I know how to get there. But Dustin has like the actual location on a map and he's following his compass. But for some reason, his compass isn't pointing at true north. And it's because there's something that's causing an electromagnetic pull, which only happens when there's a gate nearby. So it's like there has to be another gate. And it turns out it's at the bottom of the river. So Steve.
Well, like Chrissy, where she died, which was the trailer park, but then above it, that was also a gate. And so where the other guy in the water, where he died, it also turned into a gate
Which is where they're at.
Yeah, exactly.
So Steve, Eddie, Robin, and Nancy go to check out this gate in the water.
While Max, Dustin, and Lucas stay behind. Oh, yeah, Lucas is in the team now.
Yeah, I already said that.
Oh, well, I don't know if you really explained it, but yeah, he's there
Lucas
now.
Lucas is in the team now, but they're all waiting. And Steve gets pulled in to the upside down by like this like floating creature and flying creature. And immediately when he gets pulled in, Nancy is like,
doesn't he go at first?
He goes down to look at it, but he didn't mean to go in.
Yeah, but then he comes back up. And then he tells them, doesn't he?
Oh, you're right.
Because they witness him being pulled in.
Yeah.
And Nancy, no hesitation, she
jumps in.
And at this point, we should mention that she isn't really talking to Jonathan, and she's kind of having a thing with Steve again. It's nothing
not having a thing, but having feelings again.
Just having moments.
Yes.
There's like moments where you're like, oh, they're looking at each other a little funny.
And then as soon as Nancy jumps in, Robin jumps in, and then Eddie's like, okay, fuck it. And, he jumps in too.
Yeah, because he is very cowardly, so it's surprising that he does jump in.
He does mention, because they jump in and they save Steve, who's being choked out by these creatures. But they save him, and they're trying to figure out how to get out of this upside down. And they're like, well, if this is just our world, maybe we can go to Nancy's house and get guns, because that's where she has them.
Well, she mentions that.
Yeah, so we can go get them to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
And so they start walking back, and Steve and Eddie do have a moment where Eddie does say, like, the only reason I jumped in there because I didn't want to be the coward that stayed behind. But I would not have done it. But Nancy, no hesitation.
Yeah, and he's like, whatever you guys have going on between you guys, you need to chase it. Yeah. Because she loves you.
Yep. So while they're doing that, they're walking back to the Wheeler house, Nancy's house. Dustin, Lucas, and Max get caught by the police and get taken to the Wheeler house also.
Yeah.
And they're basically being told, like, whatever you're a part of, you need to tell the police. What were you guys doing there? And they were like, we were just chilling.
We were just hanging out, actually, and making out.
We just wanted to hang out by the water.
Then why did you run? Oh, I don't know. I got scared.
You scared me with those big flashlights. But they're talking. They figure out that some of the lights are flickering, meaning that they know that wherever everyone else is, they went through the gate.
But also something else to note, when in the upside down world, when Robin, Nancy, Eddie, and Steve are there in Nancy's house, she realizes that her bedroom is the same bedroom of the past, of the same year of when Will disappeared.
Yeah, because she checks her diary too, and it was when she was still dating Steve Harrington. So it's like, oh my God.
No guns. There's no guns.
No guns.
Only teddy bears.
Oh my gosh. Wait, can I mention one thing first? Steve and Eddie also have a moment where they talk about Dustin, because he's like, oh yeah, he's a great guy. And then Eddie was like, well, you know what? I didn't like, for a moment, I was jealous of you because Dustin talked about you like you were the best person ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, how is Steve Harrington, a jock, a high school popular king, how is he a great guy and popular? Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was really sweet that Dustin really looks up to
I thought the moment that they had together was really cute. Mm-hmm. And I hope that it keeps going, you know?
Yeah. But they figure out those 4 are in the Upside Down. So Dustin gets like, and I think they're called electro brights. Mm-hmm. And it's where you put those little dots and basically you can light it up and it looks like a picture. Mm-hmm. And they start contacting them through that. So they write letters like, we are in here, we don't know how to get out, we're stuck. Mm-hmm. And they tell them that you need to go somewhere where someone has died. So where Chrissy died in the trailer park. Mm-hmm. And you guys can come back through there.
Yeah.
So they go over there.
Because they couldn't go back to where the water was because it was guarded by these like bat looking things.
Yes. So they end up going to the gate that was in the trailer park where Chrissy died.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Chrissy. And when they get there, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, it freaking worked. Because as soon as they get there, they're like, what are we supposed to do? And they see like a broom come down from the gate. And it's because Dustin was opening up the gate. And he throws, because in Dustin's perspective, they're
throwing it up.
Yeah, they're throwing it up, but then they're looking down. So it's like weird.
It's kind of weird. So like they're throwing it up, but to the other team, they're throwing it down.
Yes. So they start escaping. So Robin is the first one to go, and then it's Eddie.
So they're climbing up the rope, and then they fall.
Yes.
Into like the real world.
Yes. And then it's Nancy. But as soon as Nancy tries to get out, she starts to hallucinate, and Vecna has her. So let's pause there for a bit, because 11 has been through so much right now. Because remember, she went to go become a superhero, and then
we can just say it quickly.
Yeah, 11. By the way,
the beginning of that
is trying to gain back her powers, and she's working with Dr. Brenner, right? Who's the person who raised her.
You mean Papa?
Yeah, and in order for her to get her powers back, he thinks it's better to put her in her past.
Yeah, so like to trigger it.
Yeah, in like one of her most traumatic memories that she repressed.
So she meets a guy.
Yeah.
And you can only assume that he's one of the guards?
Yes.
One of the teachers. And he's all in white, and she keeps replaying this memory over and over again. But it won't continue until she plays her part.
Yes.
Correctly. And in the sequence of events, she pretty much gets close to this guy. And I don't think he has a name at this point.
No, he doesn't. And he's supposed to be a guard, but you can tell that he kind of favors her.
Yeah.
Because he tries to help her with like the classes that all the kids take.
Yeah, and plus she's also kind of being bullied again.
Yes.
With these kids because Papa really likes her.
Yeah.
And it makes the other kids jealous. And so the guard guy, he kind of gives her like hints on like how to deal with it, you know, what to do. And so she's going through the motions of like when she first picked up her powers. By the end of it, the guard guy is trying to help her escape.
Yes.
And so they go towards like this like back room, and there's a little vent. And remember, she's little at this point. She's, you know, back into like season 1 when she was a little child. And he's like, I'm not going to fit, but you need to go, girl. You need to escape. Okay, so 11 is going to escape, but she doesn't want to escape unless she helps him too. And she's like, why don't you come with me, or like, let me help you some way. And he's like, I can't go because I have a chip right underneath my ear. And she's like, I can get it out. And so she has telekinesis now, so she easily gets it out of him. And, you know, she thinks like, oh, well, now we're friends, you know, I can do it, whatever. So she does escape, right? And then she comes back and everyone's dead. All of the children completely dead. There's blood everywhere. And so she goes to the playroom, right? It's like the main playroom.
The rainbow room.
Yeah, the rainbow room. And he's there. And that's when we find out that he's 1. Because number 1 was, he has the same tattoo. Number 1 was never like mentioned. They kind of just said
they just had 2 and then up.
He was kind of like, we don't know who he is. And so 1 starts to kind of explain his backstory. And I'm just going to say it right now, I was really confused. I was like, wait, how do these correlate? I'm really confused.
Because it's revealed that he was Victor Creel's son.
Right. So when Victor Creel told Nancy about how, you know, he was going through that trauma, they thought it was the house.
Yeah.
And so number one reveals that it was actually him. Like, he's had these powers for a long time, or he was like barely manifesting them.
Yeah.
And so he had this thing where he could like get into people's minds and like kind of like manipulate like their own thoughts.
Yes.
And so he tells her about that moment with how he killed his family, and he nearly killed his dad, but his dad escaped because he wasn't as strong as he thought. Plus, he was also a child at this point. And so he was taken to the hospital, and that's when Papa discovered him.
Yes.
And that's what basically started the whole, like, experiments and everything. Number one was the start of everything.
Yes.
And so he's telling 11, like, girl, we can be a team. You and me. Dream Team 1, 11, pretty much same. And she's a child, and she's kind of, like, not down.
Yeah.
And so she, like, uses her... Well, they have a little bit of a fight. But she does end up getting the upper hand, and she, like... shoves him to the wall, and that's what creates the first portal to the Upside Down, because he gets pushed into it. And then you see him like completely
morph into Vecna.
I know, he turns into that demon.
And that's the same time that Nancy is getting pulled by Vecna when it's revealed, and then that's the end.
Well, he's telling 11 this. Right?
Yeah, he's telling 11 this while at the same time in a different scene, Nancy is being pulled in. Yeah. And that's the end of season 4.
Well, the first volume.
First volume, because the second volume comes out soon. How did you feel, dude?
Dude, I was mind blown. I was like, wait, hold on, we're going back in time?
Yeah, I still don't understand the significance of that. Like, why it's a few years back.
What do you mean?
Like, why would it have to be a few years back? Why is the Upside Down in the past?
I think that it always existed. She just made the portal to it.
Okay.
So she kind of, like, brought it into their world.
Okay.
You know? Like, if you believe in parallel universes.
Yes.
I think that's the point of it. My thing that confused me a little bit is, why are we only hearing about him now?
When he's been here.
But people are saying that he has been here since the first season, but he was kind of like in the background. You just can't see him. You have to squint.
It's weird that he's like coming and specifically hurting kids who have trauma. I don't know. Because you're right. It should have happened earlier, but it feels like it hasn't. Did you see, though?
People think that Will was actually taken in by Vecna.
Because he has trauma.
Yeah.
Damn.
Did I see what?
Did you see that the cast of Stranger Things took a picture, I guess, and it showed Noah, which is Will's actor. He had on a harness for like the levitation thing that happens.
Aww.
And people are just kind of like, you didn't levitate this season. So like, why are you wearing that?
Well, I'm pretty sure Will's gonna levitate.
I don't want him to.
Know he is.
I don't want
100%. Will has been through the ringer. He's seen it all.
Yes. There was a part of me, like, watching all these 4 seasons, because, like I said, I watched it in 2 fucking days. By the way, 4th season, volume 1, 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
So fucking good.
And it was, like, scary. Yeah. I was actually a little scared. Like, I'm really hoping that Horror Nights has Stranger Things again, but, like, just this season.
If we see someone bend,
I'm bending. I'm bending the other way.
I know. It's like voguing. What are we doing?
What are we?
Dude, but like, there was a part of me that wished so much that Will would have acquired powers. Like, something in him would have acquired powers.
Oh, because he was in
the Upside Down. And then it would have been nice for him to have that connection with Elle, who's his sister. That's his sister.
Yeah.
I wanted that connection. So it makes me mad that there's like, I don't know. They always make Will seem insignificant, but I feel like he's super significant. Like, he's always connected to the Upside Down.
Yeah. I feel like he's kind of like the forgotten one. I feel
like they're doing that on purpose.
I think so too. I'm hoping that in the next part of this season, something important will happen for him as a character.
We didn't even mention Joyce got Hopper out.
Oh yeah, we skipped that part.
Oh my god.
Hopper's alive.
Hopper's alive.
How did you feel, by the way?
Oh my god.
The stars aligned. Did you watch that right after your crying session?
Yes.
Were you like...
Well, remember, I took a little while longer to watch season 4. I was texting you. Remember, one last episode, one last. So when I got to the part where Joyce finally got him out and they looked at each other
And they hugged. Oh, that hit me. That hit me so hard.
Yeah, and that hug, he was just so in it, you know? Oh my God.
How did you feel about his speech to Enzo, where he feels like he's cursed?
Oh, it's not him.
I know, because he feels like he's cursed because, you know, he lost his family, his daughter.
Yeah.
And then he also lost 11.
Yes. And at this point, I think he feels like he lost Joyce because she was already on her way, you know?
Yeah.
And it was kind of hinted like, oh, you might see her soon in prison.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that wouldn't happen. I'm glad it didn't. So,
yeah.
Oh my God.
My God, her and Myers, amazing team.
They are an amazing. And it was funny because when they were going over to save Hopper, they had to overthrow the guy who was driving the plane, which is Enzo, right? Enzo? No, that wasn't his name.
No,
Yuri. They had to overthrow him, and it's like, oh, Myers, don't you know karate? You said you were a black belt. And he's like, the oldest one I've ever fought, 16 years old. But then he's like, but I took him down, and I can take this guy down. And he goes through like this whole thing, like my fingers are needles, my arms iron. Like,
yeah, he's like pepping himself up.
He does so well. I freaking love him.
I love him too. He's such a good character.
But
he's so funny too.
I'm so glad Hopper's okay. I'm worried about Nancy, but I don't think she's gonna die. I think
Who do you think is gonna die?
Okay.
Because everyone,
okay.
The Stranger Things like team, I don't know if they're being serious or not, but they keep teasing, prepare for deaths. Who do you think is gonna die?
Okay, let's start off with the high schoolers. Eddie's gonna make it. I don't think Eddie's gonna die.
That's funny because I'm worried about Eddie. Only
Really?
because I feel like they're pulling an Alexi, where the people really loved Alexi and people really love Eddie. So I don't know.
I think he's gonna. Well, he might die. He might die doing something brave.
Yeah, exactly. Because it would be a good like.
Now
arc.
you got me worried about him. I wasn't at first. I'm not worried about Robin or Steve. I think they're gonna make it.
If they don't make it, I swear.
I think Steve and Nancy are gonna end up together.
How do you feel about that?
I'm a little sad because I really like Nancy and Jonathan. I thought they brought out the best in each other. But I think Jonathan is also right now. I hate that he freaking smokes weed. I hate that so much.
He's such a
Californian.
pothead. Yeah, exactly.
But if it happens, I hope it happens as naturally as Steve let go Nancy. Remember? I hope it happens like that, but I don't want it to happen.
No?
I really like how Steve's just kind of...
I was excited a little bit when things were starting to happen again between them because I honestly didn't like how they left off, like how the breakup happened.
Yeah.
It felt really mean. Like,
really?
Because she was like, this bullshit. You're bullshit.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that scene.
I felt so bad for him because
But
he really liked her.
He did really like her.
But whatever happens, I'll be fine with. But
Me too.
I honestly think that they are different as characters, so it wouldn't be the worst thing if they did get back together.
I think something's going to happen between them, and that's going to bring Nancy back from Vecna. Because he's right there.
Maybe.
He's the only one that's
going to start singing.
Oh, the Jackson 5.
Yeah, exactly.
The skinniest Jackson. Do you remember when that was big?
No. Anyway, please. Okay, so
I think that high schoolers are fine. Jonathan's going to make it. I think all of them are going to make it. Maybe not Eddie.
I'm worried about Eddie just because I do think that would complete his arc of that whole like coward thing.
Yeah.
I don't know about Robin.
Robin's going to make it. Don't even start with that.
I'm
on Pride Month? Maybe that's why they did it July 1st.
They're like, it's not Pride Month anymore.
It's not Pride Month anymore. No, they can't kill her.
Okay, I'm hoping they don't. I'm honestly, I am expecting everyone though. Like not everyone, but like every single one of them. I'm like, okay, if you die, I'm already.
You're
sad.
ready.
I'm already sad right now.
Will.
I feel like Will might die. He's been through the most.
And it's so funny.
Well, him and Elle.
It's so funny because you know how people are trying to guess what his painting is? People are guessing.
What do you think it is?
Okay, let me just say. People are guessing that it's a painting of Mike. And people are guessing that he has feelings for Mike. Because there was a conversation they had in season 3, when they're all going girl crazy. And Will is like, you guys don't even want to play D&D anymore. All you want to do is talk about girls. And Mike has a little offhanded comment.
Says that.
Yeah. Mike says an offhanded thing where he's like, well, you wouldn't know. You don't even like girls.
Yeah.
And so it never specifically says it, but it is like, and they've called him slurs before. So it's implied that
but it's never been actually like confirmed.
It's implied that he's gay. And everyone is making jokes online because it feels like every Finn Wolfhard movie, there's always a gay love interest that ends up fucking dying. So it and that other one that's based off of the Donna Hart book, Goldfinch.
I haven't seen it.
Goldfinch has Finn Wolfhard. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and the love interest is also and is also gay.
Aww.
So everyone's like, is it just a curse? Is it a Finn curse?
It's not the Vecna curse. It's
Finn's curse.
I hope not.
I really hope they don't do that either.
I hope that he... Okay.
Well, what do you think the painting is?
You didn't even say what you think it is. Oh, you think it's Mike?
I think it is. I don't know.
It's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. Like, I haven't seen you in forever. It's like a stick figure.
I painted this out of memory.
I know. Looks nothing like him.
But what if it does though? It's
God.
It's better than a photograph.
It's funny. What if it's the guy who played him as the adult version in It?
Oh my god, yes. This is what I think you look like as an adult.
What the fuck? Like,
That's really good, actually.
Really handsome. But no, like,
really handsome.
I think if it's not that, because that theory has me like, it's got me in its clutches. If it's not that though, I think it would be really sad if Will died and they open it and it's a picture of all of his friends.
That's what I was thinking. I think it's gonna be all of them together.
That's gonna fuck me up. Just thinking about that right now makes me sad.
Stop it! Don't cry.
Oh my god.
No, Pride Month. I also think that it's a painting of all his friends, but as children.
Yeah,
Throwback.
where they were all together. Max isn't in the picture, and she's like, "Oh, what is
mean?
It's just like it's
not
like
even 11.
It's a really good, like, realistic photo of everyone. 11 included everyone, and it's just a stick figure, and it has Max written on the side. Max, I guess. Oh my God.
I actually don't. I don't know what it could be. Because he was painting with blue, so I was like, it could be the sky, it could be the ocean. I don't know.
I don't know either. Oh my God.
But if he dies, I will be devastated.
I don't think Hopper's gonna die because he already had his near-death experience. But if Will dies, it's gonna fuck me up with Joyce because she freaking loves her kids.
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder's really good at acting, like, sad.
Heartbroken? Yeah, she is. She's amazing.
Oh my God.
What about anybody else? Max? Lucas?
That one would be sad. Don't think it's gonna happen. I feel like Lucas is gonna make it.
Dustin?
He'll be fine. They're gonna... Okay, if they kill
don't even think anyone's gonna die.
If they kill anyone else, it's gonna hurt a lot because I'm not expecting it. But I'm expecting Will.
I am expecting Will.
Fucking kill Will. Wait, are we gonna watch this together or separate? And when we do watch it, because we do want to film another episode for volume 2 of season 4. Mm-hmm. Should we not talk to each other about it at all? Like, no comments at all. Even the little comments that I make sometimes, none.
We didn't make any comments about this.
No, I didn't. I tried my best, but I really wanted to. I was literally in my notes app just writing, like, Hopper's fat ass, Hopper's fat ass.
And that's it. Nothing else.
Dude, Hopper? Oh, my God. That man is so handsome.
I freaking knew you would have a huge crush on him.
So
you have a thing about dads.
I don't know why.
You do.
We just had like a very good, because I mean, happy Father's Day, first of all.
You're so right.
To all the fathers we talked about. Oh my gosh.
Shout out, birthday girl.
Dude, there's that picture of freaking I don't know what the actor's name.
I don't know either.
Well, the actor of Jim Hopper took like a picture where he's like, there's a mirror and he's holding his his camera, selfie mode, and he's taking it so you can see his like badass dumpy in the mirror. And someone was like, who the fuck is he taking it for? And someone else in the comments was like, it's for himself. Can't a man feel himself? And it's like, yes, him and his badass.
Can't a man feel himself? Yes.
He's so fucking cute. Ah.
And then I knew that you were thirsting for him because my fucking For You page was full of Jim Hopper. Full of Jim Hopper. And full of Will Byers, too. And that was before you watched it.
Yeah.
So I was like, why is Will all over my For You page?
I've always loved Will. I didn't know anything about Stranger Things, but I knew I was going to like Will. I knew season 1, but that was kind of it. And I didn't even remember it that much when I watched it again. But Will's so fucking good. But Jim Hopper, man. Oh.
He's your number one?
Yeah, he's my number one.
So
Sid Hampton's cute, too.
Did you watch Black Widow?
No, is he?
He's in it.
Oh, my God. What are we doing after this?
Watching Black Widow. I loved him in that movie.
Oh, my God. I'm so fucking like...
He lost a lot of weight, though.
In a good way or in a bad way? Why'd you say it like that?
Well, for this season. For season 4.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, you scared me. I thought he was like, okay.
No,
well, he had to.
Yeah, I know, because,
How did you feel about the Russian Nazi camps?
I'm not sure.
I didn't like it.
No.
You know what? It threw me off more because I saw a post, and I don't know how legit it is, but apparently they were opening up those Nazi camps as like a tourist attraction.
Are you serious?
I heard. I might be wrong. Someone fact check me. But I might be wrong. But if they did, that's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like romanticizing it. Because I think people were allowed to stay in the Nazi camps. But it's like, why would you do that?
I'm not really sure how to feel about it, to be honest.
It's just a little weird. It's off-putting, this whole like Russian
like politics situation. Yeah. I'm not like really sure how to feel about it because I don't even know what was happening during this time, like politically. So
yeah, I don't either. But yeah, it's pretty. I'm not a fan.
And then speaking about something else controversial, how do you feel about the people getting the tattoos of the numbers?
I didn't know. Oh my God, that makes it even worse. Are you serious?
Yeah, but people are getting like the 11 tattoo or the 1 tattoo.
That's very.
Yeah.
Not to be that person, but that's very Holocaust vibes. Oh my God, that's kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh my God.
That's so wrong on so many levels.
But some people are just so unaware.
Or they just don't care.
Not connected, but kind of connected. I'm sorry to always bring it up, but I saw this Heartstopper post. Sorry, but it's connected. I saw this Heartstopper post where Joe Locke, which is the actor who plays Charlie, made a joke where he was like, Kit Connor, gotta veto your comment. And veto, like how you veto a bill, you take it away. Everyone in the comments was like, what the fuck does veto mean? And it like kind of struck me as like, does no one go to school for that? It's like, how do you not know what veto means? That kind of reminds me of what you just said about the tattoos, because it feels like, is no one...
You're not aware of global things.
You're not aware of the damage that can do to people too. So don't do that if you're thinking about
people do get numbers tattooed on them, but it definitely has a different meaning when it's on your like wrist or near your wrist.
Yeah. But then you also can't control what people do.
I know, but it's just like if you met someone who had a tattoo like that, and there's a certain like style to the number too.
Yes, the way it's written, it seems like a branding.
You would feel iffy about them, wouldn't you?
I would.
I would too.
I hella would.
I'd be like, gosh. This is the first and the last time we're hanging out.
Oh, you have a Stranger Things tattoo? I do too. And it's like, it's the picture of Jim Hopper's fat ass when he's taking the selfie. It's a QR code to that picture.
No, the QR code is right underneath it.
Oh my God. That's a good Stranger Things tattoo. Oh my gosh. I really like it when cast members come together and get a tattoo of
like Pretty Little Liars.
Pretty Little Liars, The Avengers, except for Mark Ruffalo.
Okay, rude, Mark.
Not Stranger Things, of course. The Hobbit, I think, came together. Not The Hobbit. Lord of the Rings came together and did that too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's so sweet.
I know.
I hope they do that with this series. I don't know how they feel about this series.
They like grew up together.
They did. Oh my god. Do you remember after season 1 of Stranger Things when people were like, oh my god, Finn Wolfhard, Mikey? What?
Mm-hmm.
And then he was immediately in It. He's over here like talking shit, like being able to say bad words. Oh my god. And now seeing him.
They've all grown up so much.
And Dustin Gatton. He's freaking 20.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Even Millie being 18 is like weird to me.
It's weird.
Is she 18 or 19? One or the other.
She's old. She's
I'm sorry. Old?
She's an old lady. She's a grandma. That's crazy. I'm very excited for season 4, volume 2.
Yeah.
Is it the last? No more?
I think there's gonna be a season 5.
Oh. I thought it was the last one.
I did too, but the writers keep mentioning a season 5. So I think it's because of the success of the show and its constant success.
I wonder how it's going to end. I was kind of hoping this was the end.
I was too, but I do kind of hope, it's a long shot, but I do kind of hope that if there is a season 5, it's going to be more wholesome. Yeah. Can they just like chill?
Oh my God. I don't even know what would happen.
Marriage, obviously.
It's just everyone getting married. That'd be so weird. I don't know. What? I thought this was the end.
I did too.
I wonder how the season's going to end though, because I don't think it's going to end happy.
You mean like season 4 or just like in general?
Season 4.
Oh, I don't think so either.
Someone mentioned that every season starts with Mike being late for something. So what if he's like late to save his friend? You know
what if he's late to the
wedding?
To
save his sister. His sister's, levitating right now.
Oh, you mean for the volume 2?
Volume 2 and also season 5. I don't even know what's gonna happen there.
Late to the wedding.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Will disappears one more time for good old times. Like, remember when
memories? I do see that happening. I can see that happening. Will disappearing at the end of season 4.
And they call it the disappearance of Will Byers, like the first episode of season 1. Oh, that would fuck me up. But then Will's stronger now. I fucking love Will.
I know. I love him
his
too.
Fucking bowl cut. Get me fucking started. Like, as soon as I saw his bowl cut, I was like, what if? Because I love messing with my hair. But I like it too much.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it. Do a bowl cut.
What if I just get a tattoo of a bowl cut?
No, because then people would be like, Oliver Tree?
And what's wrong with that? I'll put it right next to my Oliver Tree tattoo.
I'll put it right next to my shark tattoo.
Oh my God. It's just like a bunch of silhouettes. If you got a Stranger Things tattoo, what would it be?
Oh my God, I don't know.
Mine would be the silhouette of Will opening the car in California when he sings the da-da-da-da-da. Because I freaking love Will. And I thought he looked really cute in that shot.
I feel like
that's very specific. But
I know. I feel like mine would have to do with Steve. But I don't know what.
Oh,
and ice cream.
I'm sorry. Jim Hopper's fat ass.
You forgot.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so embarrassed.
It's okay.
I just really love Will.
But also Jim Hopper's fat ass.
Those two characters specifically. Because, Jim Hopper's a character, but his fat ass is a character. So, I love him so much. If he fucking dies on me a second time, I'm gone.
You were really heartbroken.
Yeah.
I wish you would have reached out to me. I would have cried too.
Would you? Would you have told me?
The end of season 4 made me hella cry. I was
season 4?
Sorry, season 4. Season 3, when, we think he's dead.
Yeah.
When he's narrating the letter. And he ends it with, keep the 3 inches.
Yeah.
Please.
For your dear old dad.
Yeah, I was literally I was sobbing so hard. But I did know that he was alive. Because of the scene right after.
I should have not cried at that point.
Why?
So I could have listened.
To the letter?
To them saying, not
the American.
I don't know. I was a mess. Oh, God. I wish you could have seen me. Those were a tough 2 days. I was getting headaches. I told you. Oh, my God. Headaches.
Oh, no. You're going to be Vecned. What would be the song that would save you?
Oh, my God.
I Need a Hero. The Shrek version.
CPR Cupcake.
Hello?
Have you seen that TikTok post? Whoever made this post, freaking good on you. because you know how people are making posts where it's like Vecna has you, and it's like, what
What's the
song would you play? And it's like, you know, they put headphones on him, and it's Chrissy, wake up. And then Vecna's like, wait, hold on, is this a remix of me killing someone? And he's like, yeah, bitch. And he's like, oh my god, this fucking slaps. And it's both of them jamming out to the song.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay,
but
real shit.
A lot of the posts are really funny.
They are really funny, but real shit, what would be your song?
I just said it.
It would be?
I love that song.
I need a hero.
Yeah, but the hero is... Stop, we're gonna get copyrighted.
I'm sorry, I know it sounds too much like it.
That song means a lot to me.
I think I would have Black Hole Sun.
That's a good one.
That would be my song. Wait, what? System of a Down. Chop Suey. Fire to your hands. Oh, wait. The entire discography of Korn for you. No one knows this. Yajaira's a big Korn fan. I love that about you.
I don't even know which one. All of them.
All of them playing on top of each other. Layered.
At the same time.
And Vecna's like, what the fuck?
This kind of slaps. Hold on. Why does he sound like a demon? I'm scared.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that for you. I think we're at the end of our episode.
Yeah, but overall thoughts. What was your rating?
Wait, before that. I know you love Stranger Things. Did you think I would like it as much?
I knew you would because I know you like Found Family.
Yes.
And I know you like It. And it's not the same as It, but, you know, it does deal with kids growing up. So I had a feeling you would really like it.
I did really like it.
I knew you would. I
knew I would too. But it's just like, you know, when something is so deep in and already has a fandom, it's kind of hard to get into it. Because it's like, I'm already so late to the party. I didn't see all these interviews, them singing the Jackson 5 song. Oh my God. Like, that was all new to me. So it was a lot to take in, but I don't regret watching it. I would give this freaking 5 out of 5. Depends how it ends, though. It might change.
I don't think you would change it.
What if they take away Jim Hopper's ass? What if it, instead of out, it's in? It's like... Give it back.
I also really like Millie Bobby Brown's relationship with Noah.
Me too.
They're so cute. They seem really close. And I was super into this show. Like I said already, like I think at the start of season 2.
Yeah.
And honestly, even seeing, it's so stupid, but even seeing videos of them as kids, it makes me want to cry. Like, I don't know why, because I feel like I've seen them grow up. And like, I love all of them, even as like actors. Like, I will always love them just because, you know, I've seen them grow up. I saw a video, I'll have to show it to you later, of Sadie, which is Max.
Yes.
And she was literally a baby, like tinier than when she first showed up in Stranger Things, and she was singing with someone, and I was like so emotional because I was like, damn, that's my girl right there. That's Maxie. And I just love the show so much. I would also give it a 5 out of 5.
Wait, right now, quick, favorite girl, favorite boy, go.
Steve. Favorite girl, Elle.
Okay.
I love Elle. I love her so much. I don't think people really favor her, which is so interesting to me because I feel like she's such a complex character.
So complex.
But I feel like most people favor like Max or Nancy.
Mine is Robin and Will.
Oh, Robin's a good one too. I really like Robin.
Love them. Happy Pride Month. Love wins. Oh my God.
And it will.
And it
oh
will.
my God, wait.
And it will. Where there's a will, there's a way. Oh my God.
Whoa. Okay.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. It's going to hurt. Whatever's going to happen next, it's going to fucking hurt.
I know, but we will be here next week to talk about it.
Oh, that's so weird to say. We will be here next week to talk about it.
Already having a crisis.
Yeah.
I'm excited, but really nervous.
Okay, it's funny because it's only going to take you guys a week, but it's going to take us a while to get there. We're going to look destroyed or distraught. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you listen to us on audio form, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music, thank you so much. If you can leave a rating of 5 stars and a comment of like how you felt about all of Stranger Things. What do you think is going to happen? Who's your favorite girl and boy? You can't say Will or Robin because those are mine. But
hello?
They're mine.
But they're really good characters.
No, they're mine. Also, if you can tell your friends, families, loved ones, hated ones, Vecna maybe? If you can tell them.
Oh my God, wait. I didn't even ask what you thought about Vecna.
skinny legend. I can't think. Oh, he was kind of spooky, but you know, if he watches our podcast, I think that would be really nice because, you know, the best way to get exposure is through word of mouth. So please tell Vecna about us. Maybe he'll tell everyone in the Upside Down. Oh, that would be really nice of him. Anyway,
shout out.
If you're watching,
we become famous
at the Upside Down.
Only in the Upside Down.
Oh my God, love that. There's no people there.
I know. It's just a Demogorgon.
Have you seen that meme where it's like a guy it's like someone on top of like a concert venue, like performing, and there's only one guy, and he's just like
hell yeah.
It's gonna be us at the Upside Down, and that's Vecna cheering for us.
Oh, I hope so. What if he hates
Love
us?
that. No, Vecna would be a fan. For those of you watching on YouTube, thank you so much. If you can like, comment, and subscribe, please tell us what you think about this, because it would be really nice to hear how everyone else is feeling about Stranger Things. Are you excited for Volume 2, Season 4? Who do you think's gonna die? Don't tell me though, but you can tell me. I just want to look at the comments. Okay, thank you.
They know?
Yeah, they might.
They're
the
psychic.
Freaking, what are they called? The Duffy brothers?
The writers are not going to watch this. Whoa.
Don't say that. They are going to watch this because Vecna told them to. If you can hit that notification bell, that would be really nice. It helps with analytics. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you when Volume 2 comes out next week. Bye.
Bye. So
Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up. Wait. Hey, hello. Dude, that freaking slaps. Oh my God.
That's such a good song.
Do you think Vecna's kind of thick?
Kind of. I mean,
okay, I was a little nervous. I didn't want to say it during
I didn't want to be the only one to say this, but he's kind of cute. I don't know.
Wait.
I'm like,
dude, don't lie. We just read Dragon's Breath.
I was gonna say that.
How much can we tuck our hair back before we just have no hair? Dude, don't lie.
Like, we just got introduced to our first monster romance.
Yeah. Oh my God, this becomes a monster romance.
Who would be his love interest?
I don't know. Do you think Vecna's... Oh, wait, sorry. Dude.
What if...
Say it. The most controversial theory.
Nancy.
What if Nancy... Oh my God. Hold
Nancy
on.
and Vecna? Nekna?
Nekna. Oh my God. No.
Nanka? Nancy?
Hopper and Vecna? Maybe.
I was thinking that. But then I was like, Joyce, not my girl Joyce.
Not Joyce, because Joyce is gonna be like, I get it, Hopper. I get it. I would leave you too for it.
I would also save the world by dating him.
I gotta do it, Joyce. I gotta do it.
I'll take one for the team.
Chrissy, wake up. It's like, how do you know that song? You weren't even there for that.
I was, in spirit.